Injured or living with chronic pain? Book an appointment at Physio Extra today. 6 locations. physioextra.com.
The Foreign Minister has suggested the federal government could be a step closer to recognising Palestinian statehood. Speaking at a conference in Canberra, Penny Wong says recognition could build a path towards a two-state solution with Israel. The government is pushing for more transparency from Israel over its investigation into the death of 7 aid workers, including Australian Zomi Frankham. South Australians are among the worst in the country for recognising the key signs of stroke. Mel Usher has the details.
Just 8% of people living in Adelaide are aware that the inability to lift both arms is a sign of stroke. That's according to the Stroke Foundation's most recent National Awareness Survey. Close to 60% of Australian stroke patients present to hospital with weakness in one arm. But it remains the least known sign of stroke, featured in the FAST acronym, which is used around the world. FAST highlights the 3 most common signs of stroke: face, arms and speech. The T stands for time, a reminder that there is no time to waste, and stroke is always a medical emergency.
Complaints being made to private health insurers have climbed almost 27% in the past financial year. Medibank is the most complained about, followed by Bupa. Data from the Commonwealth Ombudsman shows health funds are spending up to an average $1,200 per policy on administration fees rather than benefits. Saving the Crown and Anchor in the city took a step forward last night. Supporters took their campaign to the Adelaide Town Hall. The City Council voting to write to the Premier about the potential loss of a live music venue after a motion by the Deputy Lord Mayor. The Save the Cranker campaign will head to Parliament House today. Greens MLC Robert Sims will move the state government formally oppose any demolition of the historic pub in a submission to the State Commission Assessment Panel. The campaign's Evan Moroney has told 10 it needs to be preserved and not turned into multi-storey student accommodation.
We're talking about a financially profitable business. So the Cranker, 7 nights a week, people are able to go along there, see live music, aspiring artists and accomplished artists.
The first group of 10 SA police officers deployed to the Northern Territory will fly out today. They're headed to Alice Springs as reinforcements. The town is currently under a 2-week youth curfew, which will now be extended by another 6 days due to ongoing violence. At this stage, there will be 2 groups of 10 officers and each will stay a week. SAPOL says no current police operation will be impacted as a result of the 2 deployments. The risk of bird flu hitting Australian shores has been upgraded to high. The virus has been found in dead seabirds on the Antarctic Peninsula. Australia's Chief Veterinary Officer, Dr. Beth Cookson, says there's no way to prevent it from entering the country.
Our work at the moment is to make sure that we have good preparedness arrangements in place and that there's a good level of monitoring and surveillance going on to detect the virus if it were to arrive in Australia.
Now to 5AA Sport.
Colours, custom design, any house, any style. Gliderol Garage Doors. Gliderol.com.au.
And it's good morning to Tom Wren.
And a very good morning to you as well, Graham. We'll start with some football. Port Adelaide is still waiting to hear what sanction Jeremy Finlayson will receive for his homophobic slur made against an Essendon player during last Friday night's clash at Adelaide Oval. A penalty could be handed down as soon as today. Meantime, Melbourne will be without forward Cozzy Pickett for its clash against Brisbane tomorrow night after his one-match suspension was upheld. The Demons fronted the tribunal last night in a bid to reduce Pickett's rough conduct charge from medium contact to low. Teammate Christian Petrarca has told Fox Footy, while he knows Pickett would be bitterly disappointed with his actions on the field, he doesn't want him to lose his edge when playing.
I love the way he plays. I think it's he's such an X factor, such an excitement to the game, and I know opposition players, like I'm scared at training when he's trying to tackle me and trying to chase me down. So I don't want him to lose that aspect of his game.
Let's go to soccer, and Arsenal has work to do in its Champions League quarter-final tie against Bayern Munich. The Gunners led 1-0 at home after a goal from Bukayo Saka, but the German Giants hit back, Harry Kane putting them in front with a penalty.
And Harry Kane's wish comes true. He scores in the Champions League for Bayern against Arsenal.
Audio there thanks to Stan Sport. It's still 2-1 to Bayern with about 15 minutes to play. Elsewhere, Manchester City has just come from 2-1 down and is now 3-2 up against Real Madrid. And that's the 5AA Sport.
And now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
Cloudy and 21 today, tomorrow partly cloudy 22, Friday and Saturday the same, partly cloudy, both days 21 degrees. Currently, it's 13. More news as it happens on 5AA.
What starts with A and ends with E, supplements for you and me.
Arbor Vitae health supplements are now available at Chemist Warehouse for just $49.99 a bottle. You save over $19 a bottle at Chemist Warehouse.
Arbor Vitae.
Still thinking about a sea change? Think Oakford Homes in Counter Bay. New stage released and selling fast. A variety of block sizes available in a friendly community with brand new low maintenance homes plus the beach close by. Affordable packages, no surprises. Move in now or invest for the future. Fixed price turnkey packages, flat land ready to build. Don't miss out. New stage now released. Visit our display village at Encounter Bay. Oakford Homes, a statement of quality. oakfordhomes.com.au.
Now, you'll get caught up in the daily grind, but luckily, how's this for time and nutrition? You can always count on, and taste, you can always count on the family cook to take at least one thing off your plate.
Whether you're feeding a family or just cooking for one, the family cook are masters of meals and delivery. They make sensational family favourites using only the freshest local ingredients.
Now, the range is fantastic, and it all tastes like it's straight out of a high-quality family kitchen. Dishes like nurturing chicken soup, shepherd's pie, pasta, salmon, roasts, along with modern dishes like teriyaki chicken, spinach and ricotta shells, and Thai green curry. And desserts include apple crumble and much, much more.
With large, hearty servings and so much variety, the family cook can please everyone, from hungry tradies to fussy kids. They're also NDIS approved. Get your meals delivered fresh or frozen and take the stress out of mealtime. Visit thefamilycook.com.au.
Since I got these new shoes from Gilmore's, I can do even more dance moves. Here, hold my phone.
Oh, Grandma, do we have to do this here?
Oh, don't be silly. The light is great. I've got more than 80 followers, you know. You're out with an influencer.
My grandma, the influencer. Just wow.
Well, you can thank Gilmore's for that. My followers love seeing the new shoes I've bought.
I know. I've read some of the comments. Actually pretty good.
I told you I'm trending.
Gilmore's Comfort Shoes, South Road, Melrose Park, opposite Castle Plaza.
City Discount Tires.
Get saving this month at City Discount Tires. When you buy 3 Falcon CT60 tyres, you'll get the 4th tyre free. The perfect tyre for crossovers such as Honda CR-V and Toyota RAV4. City Discount Tires are a proud multi-tyre and wheel brand retailer offering great service at great prices. Visit citydiscounttires.com.au to find your nearest store. City Discount Tires. We're driven by value.
City Discount Tires.
Stay informed, get involved. 5AA, always Adelaide.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base, search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
8 minutes after 6, good morning to you. Welcome to Wednesday on 5AA Breakfast, the 10th of April. It is a Wednesday morning, which means Sean Fuster's going to join us after 7:30. We'll go around the courts. Jade Robran is out on the road already this morning. I understand she's heading to a couple of pharmacies that were hit by someone that the police are still trying to catch up with. It's separate incidents they believe are linked. But Jade will have all the detail on that for us after 6:30 today. Dan Houston will be on the show. We'll talk to him about Port's crushing victory over the Bombers on Friday night, but also how he went at the Findon Coles on Saturday morning as part of his role in promoting South Australia and Gather Round. We know he's pumped about that, so we'll chat with him a little bit later in the morning as well. And David Kost will join us too, the chairman of the Port Adelaide Football Club and our resident economics expert. Like talking economics, your money and all these sorts of things that Koshi is himself a massive expert in. So that's coming up this morning. Big show on the way. 8223 You can text us on the Duttons text line. David Penberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, listeners. Yes, for those of you who missed our interview with Dan Houston last week, he made the exciting revelation that as part of Gather Round, he was going to be doing a 1-hour shift as a checkout assistant and maybe doing a bit of trolley retrieval too, we're not sure, at the Findon Coles. Now, Findon Coles, great.
Fantastic.
Got no issue with Findon Coles? Just
I go
there.
That would be one I go in on the way home from work some nights.
Yeah, I used to pop in there a bit when the kids were down at Grange Primary.
It's a good one.
Yeah, it is a good supermarket. However, was it really the epicentre of the gather-round excitement? I don't know.
Well, I think especially when his teammates, he looked at Charlie Dixon and Lockie Jones, what are you doing for gather-round? Oh, we're having a drag race at the Bend.
Yeah,
oh, Aaliyah, what are you doing? I'm
DJing on the roof of the Adelaide Oval. Imagine Dan's response to that.
Okay.
Looks like you drew the short straw, Aaliyah, because I'll be down on Grange Road at Findon Coles saying, would you like a bag?
Yeah.
How's your day? I didn't realise there were more trolleys out there. I'll just go and get them. That sort of stuff.
Yeah. It's all about promoting the state.
I don't know why they didn't use that in the SA Tourism ads.
They should have.
You know, like someone just going through a car park in slow motion with 73 trolleys.
Dan Houston's booting trolleys 40 metres back into the bay.
That's right.
That would have been something I'd like to see.
Did you ever do any supermarket work as a kid?
Yeah. Did a little bit of Foodland.
Did you do night fill or
no? During the day.
Were you a checkout assistant?
No, just working the aisles.
What were you doing there? What are you
Stocking
doing?
shelves. Front. What do they call it? Rotating and facing. What do they call that? There was a term for it. I can't.
I'm making sure all the tins are lined up.
Yeah. You stock and
So it's
face
like
or whatever
edge
it's
or
called.
chickpea,
Yeah,
edge
that's
or
right.
chickpea, edge or
You
chickpea.
backfill it and then make sure it's facing the right way, and then did the trolleys. Trolleys was the highlight. I love doing going out to get the trolleys.
Did you ever lose
Getting
control of them?
outside. No, it wasn't like Findon Coles.
Slam into a car.
It wasn't like 500 trolleys out there. It's not like at Westlake Shopping Centre where they've got people driving around in trucks collecting the trolleys.
Yeah,
it was just
those
it was a basic
big
food
golf
land.
cart type trucks.
Yeah. No,
Or
it
quad bikes.
wasn't that. It was, it was the fun amount. Getting 5 or 6 at a time. Good stuff.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah.
I did a bit of night fill at a supermarket. I don't even think it's there anymore. There used to be a supermarket near the Oaklands railway station.
Facing up, sorry. All the people are texting on the Dutton's text line this morning. Facing up is what you call it.
Facing up.
Yeah, I'm out of practice. It's been about nearly 30 years.
Probably the first job a lot of people ever have. Working in a supermarket.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. No, I did some night fill at the... I can't even remember which supermarket it was. It was so long ago. It might have been like a Tom's or something. Or it might have been Bilo. But there was a supermarket in that triangle of Diagonal Road near the Oaklands railway station. And I did night fill with mates a few times. But it just wasn't for me.
No, you're a markets man. We know all about that. I'm just being temporarily distracted. Lucy's got some information coming through for us about the Southern Expressway, where we're getting some reports that there's a truck fire at Darlington. If you're on the Southern Expressway and you've seen, you can confirm what we've just been told, or maybe you're about to go through the area and you can bring us up to speed. We always appreciate your intel. There's nothing better than an eyewitness report. 8223 or if you're able to and can do it safely, do flick us a text. Dutton's Mitsubishi, the new gen Triton has landed. Book your test drive today. Dutton's, they're easy to do business with. We'll keep an eye on that one. SAPOL coming up in about 30 minutes' time. Quick break, news headlines in just a moment.
Emergencies are no time to be making tough choices. Luckily, when it comes to the best emergency care, your choice is clear. Calvary Adelaide is South Australia's newest state-of-the-art hospital. With Adelaide's only 24-hour private emergency department, Calvary provides emergency care at any time with no time spared. You'll experience shorter wait times, personalised attention from experienced specialists and nurses, and comfortable modern facilities. Trust Calvary Adelaide, 120 Angus Street, Adelaide.
What's got Mike singing? Mike just got an energy-efficient heat pump installed by EcoVantage. Not only is it using nearly 80% less energy than his old hot water system and saving hundreds off his power bills, he got it for free. Thanks to federal and SA government incentives, you can get your own energy-efficient heat pump from just $0. Pump your energy bills down with EcoVantage. Visit ecovantage.com.au.
Hi, I'm Lynn Andrews. For over 50 years we, the Lynn Andrews team, have specialised in commercial and residential property management. But above all, we specialise in people, helping to make life easier for investors and tenants. Everyone is treated with empathy and respect. It's the way we do business. It's the Lynn Andrews way. For residential and commercial property management, we're here to help you. Visit lynnandrews.com.au.
Pathology is an essential part of our healthcare system, and 70% of all our medical decisions rely on pathology tests. They help GPs and other healthcare professionals diagnose illnesses, diseases and infections. And we all benefit from pathology being bulk billed. But government funding hasn't increased in 24 years. So to keep pathology affordable and accessible for all Australians, visit keeppathologybulkbilled.com.au. Authorised by LWET, Australian Pathology Canberra.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base, search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
15 after 6, Josh on the Duttons text line says, confirmed truck fire for southbound at Darlington. Any more information from people coming through, let us know, 8223 0000. But thank you, Josh, for confirming a little whisper that we had received from Luce just a few moments ago. Other news headlines on this Wednesday morning. 2 people are in hospital after a crash in Edinburgh North last night. Just after 6:30pm, there was a collision between a Honda motorcycle and a Hyundai sedan on Stevenheath Road. The motorbike rider, a 37-year-old Elizabeth Vale man, and the driver of the sedan, a 42-year-old Salisbury East woman, were taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. New research shows up to $82 billion worth of wind turbine towers will be needed as Australia shifts away from fossil fuels. Yikes!
How many?
$82 billion.
That's quite a lot of money, isn't it?
That's
Who's going to pay for that?
That's an entire nuclear submarine program. The report is calling for new training programs and subsidies to grow the renewable manufacturing industry. Unions and climate groups say tens of thousands of jobs could be created in solar panel production alone if the federal government increases its spending.
Jesus.
$82 billion.
You know what I find really weird? The constant refrain from Albo and Chris Bowen about how nuclear power makes no economic sense. It's not viable. It can't stand on its own 2 feet. It's too expensive. What did you just say?
And yet, $82 billion worth of wind turbines will be needed.
And the government needs to encourage solar uptake. So what's that mean? Increase the feed-in tariff or get it back to what it was in the early days where you could use your solar panels like your own private cash register, getting so much money from the government back in the good old days. Yeah, it's a staggering amount of money.
It's just it's amazing the economics works for countries like South Korea and France and Germany and Japan and Canada and other places that are currently in the process of the US building nuclear reactors. But
now, I'm not the economic expert, but they all sound like reasonably successful economies.
Yeah,
too.
I know. Just we can't make the numbers
Germany?
work. Yeah, Germany's
going all right economically, isn't it?
Actually, Europe's struggling a little bit. But yeah, I know. Germany, manufacturing powerhouse. I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
good standard of living. They tend to know what they're doing there.
Make a few good cars.
Yep.
Mercedes.
Yep.
BMW.
White goods.
Yeah,
Used to
right.
anyway. They're having a bit of problem with China on that whole front, but point taken. The amount of sugar in Fanta has been increased by 60%, reigniting calls for the government to tax sweetened drinks. God, these people are out of bed and the light flicks on. They think the debate's been reignited for sugary drinks to be taxed.
I didn't even know there was a debate about that.
No, there's not. Coca-Cola reduced the soft drink's sugar content a few years ago as proof the industry could reform without a tax, but some of the cut sugar has been re-added. A 600ml bottle now contains an extra 4 teaspoons. Does
Fanta?
No one mistakenly buys a Fanta thinking it was a healthy option, do they?
No, I don't think so.
So
I think if you were putting Fanta in your kid's lunchbox or, I don't think the occasional Fanta is going to kill you. Well, I would say, big fan of Coke, Fanta, you can keep it.
16 teaspoons of sugar in a 600ml Coke.
Fanta is like the sort of soft drink equivalent of one of those frogs you find in the jungles in Brazil, where it's so brightly coloured.
Like a warning, you think?
Yeah, you can tell from looking at it that you shouldn't put it in your mouth. What are they called? They're the blow dart frogs.
Yeah.
Where you scrape the arrow, like the Brazilian indigenous people, well, the ones who live in the Amazon at least, they put the arrow tips on the back of the frog, and then they sit there with their little blow darts go.
It's a common feature of poisonous animals. They often have bright colours that serve as a warning.
Yeah.
Like Fanta.
Fanta is the poisonous frog of the soft drink world. Coke, however, is delicious and good for you.
The Foreign Minister has given the strongest indication yet that Australia could recognise a Palestinian state. Penny Wong has told a conference in Canberra a two-state solution in Israel is the only hope for peace. She says the recognition of a Palestinian state would undermine Hamas and improve diplomatic relations with other countries in the region.
The simple truth is that a secure and prosperous future for both Israelis and Palestinians will only come with a two-state solution. Recognition of each other's right to exist. A Palestinian state alongside the state of Israel.
I hate to break it to Penny Wong, but she might believe in a two-state solution. I just don't know if Hamas does.
Well, they don't.
I think that's the whole point of from the river to the sea means that the Jews do not have any right to exist in a part of the world that they've had historic connections to going back thousands of years. And the other part of it too is it almost looks like is October 7 the way you get a two-state solution. They are the two big problems with this. Now, I'd say both of those, I think that Palestine does deserve its own state. And so much of this would be happening would not be happening if they had one. But yeah,
the popularly elected government there doesn't believe in a two-state solution.
No, they want Israel eliminated.
I don't know what you do with that.
Yeah,
seems interesting that the West continually sort of foists this solution on a group of people that don't seem to be that interested in it.
Well, they have had chances before and they've been rejected as well. But equally, there's been some pretty paltry offers made by Israel as well, historically. And Israel, you know, we've seen the map of how it's grown, how much territory it's encroached into. I mean, the whole thing's a bloody shambles. But yeah, I don't know. The reason we're at this point, though, a large part of it is the completely indiscriminate and heavy-handed way Israel's fought this war.
That's right. The longer
and
it goes on,
it's not just a Labor government in Australia that's taking this position now or toying with this position. Rishi Sunak is saying the same thing in Britain. A Conservative government is saying the same thing.
Feels like a soft power kind of way of pressuring Israelis to bring about the end of the conflict, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, all your allies suddenly just, you know, mumbling out loud about, well, that two-state solution sounds good.
Yeah.
It's a sort of polite diplomatic way of saying, might be time to pull your head in.
Yeah.
I reckon.
Put the mockers on them.
The risk of bird flu hitting Australian shores has been upgraded to high. The virus has been found in dead seabirds on the Antarctic Peninsula. Meanwhile, Australian authorities are monitoring a case in America whereby a farmer in Texas contracted the virus amid an outbreak in dairy cattle. Australia's Chief Veterinary Officer, Dr. Beth Cookson, says there's no way to prevent it from entering the country.
Our work at the moment is to make sure that we have good preparedness arrangements in place and that there's a good level of monitoring and surveillance going on to detect the virus if it were to arrive in Australia.
Not a lot of love for Fanta coming through on the Duttons text line.
No, Fanta's really copping it. Wally the Walnut says, Fanta, big time yuck. I would rather drink a poisonous frog. And Mick, it's a slightly overblown analogy, Nick. Nick associates Fanta with the root of all evil. It's part of a sinister plan to kill us all off. And then he says, long live Woodruff's lemonade. Good stuff.
From 12.9 degrees outside in the city at the moment, 21 the expected top today. The UV predicted to hit 6, which is considered high. When the UV's 3 and above, cover up, use sun protection. Stay SunSmart. Download the SunSmart app. Rest of the week's pretty similar to what we've had. So lows of 10, 11, the highs of 21, 22. Thursday, 22 the top. Friday, 21. Saturday, 21. Then it's a little bit warmer for Sunday. Monday, those been revised down a bit, not quite the 26 that we'd been previously promised. Now looks like more 23. Tuesday, 22, but a very stable pattern of weather that's come into play for the last few days and indeed the next 7 days. We'll have more details from the Weather Bureau when they join us in about 20 minutes' time.
I thought someone was joking about this, but according to Ben Jordan, apparently there is an actual link between Fanta and the Nazis.
No, is there?
Apparently it originated in 1940 during World War II in Nazi Germany, and because of the war there was no shipping between Germany and the US, so they couldn't import Coke.
So they invented Fanta?
Yeah. Apparently. Well, Ben knows his stuff.
What started out as our regular ribbing of the pro-tax, anti-sugar drink people really hasn't turned into a good PR exercise for Fanta, has it?
That's right.
We were on their side at the start of this discussion.
The PR people at Coca-Cola Amateur would have been so thrilled that we started by rubbishing the sugar tax, and then it ended up being a bit of a red-blooded denunciation of Fanta.
And our listeners are history buffs. What can we say?
That's right.
Tom Wren's in the FIVEAA Breakfast Studio. Gliderol Garage Doors adding strength, style and safety to your home. Gliderol.com.au. Morning, Rennie.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. A lot of people waking up this morning probably wondering what is going on with regards to the Champions League. So final 8 teams, a couple of English sides in there. Arsenal have just played a 2-2 draw with Bayern Munich, and that's Harry Kane, of course, who plays for Bayern, and Real Madrid and Manchester City 3-3. It's in stoppage time, so interesting to see what's going on there. Speaking of overseas sport, we'll come back locally, but the US Masters starts tomorrow night. Is it the biggest golf tournament of the year? I think it's pretty close, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is.
There's something that just looks amazing. They've got the $1.50 sandwiches that they have there every year. Graham Corns is over there.
What sort of sandwiches?
I know, I can't believe he's over there.
Yeah, Graham Corns. They do like these special, you can only get them at Augusta, and they keep them at the same price every year. They're like $1.50. Yeah, it's unreal. I'd love to go. Graham Corns is there.
I can't believe he's there. What a thrill.
Can you believe
Well,
that?
Cornsy's a member at Glenelg, isn't he? And he plays almost every day.
Yeah, he plays
He's
a fair
obsessed.
bit. Yeah, loves it. I don't know how he goes, but I think he...
Have you ever been to it, Tom?
US, but no. I'd love to go. It's a bucket list item for sure.
How do you even get to it? Is it almost like getting a ticket to the Super Bowl?
It's tough. I think it's tough. I think he had to jump through a lot of hoops. And
I think he's over there officially covering it.
Yeah.
So he's an accredited journo.
Yeah, in fact, we should at least put his accreditation to the test and speak to him while he's over there, shouldn't we?
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
Hey, we should start a Get Tommy to the Masters. Hashtag Get Tommy to the Masters.
He's the godfather of live golf.
Yeah.
That's got to get you in the door.
He's the first guy at the Premier.
Actually, that might get you banned at the Masters. Let's wipe that from the record. He hates live golf.
He hates it.
He thinks it's rubbish.
He tried to talk Peter Malinowskis out of hosting live golf.
But it's going to be great. Look, the thing with the US Masters is once you're in, you're actually a really good chance. Well, you're not a really good chance, but you're a better chance to win than you are at a normal tournament. There's only about 90 players as opposed to 150 in a normal tournament. And a lot of them are players like Mike Weir, who's a former winner. Sandy Lyle's not doing it anymore. But other, Jose Maria Olazabal, players that have won it 30 years ago that aren't, really any chance of claiming it again. So there's 6 Australians this time. I genuinely think Jason Day is a big chance this year. Huge chance. There's a young amateur called Jasper Stubbs who's there, which is really exciting. They have these exemptions for some people to get into the tournament. 6 in total. I think Min Woo Lee will be a major winner at some point. Not sure if it'll be this course or this year that suits him best. But he is a rock star. He can win it. Scotty Scheffler's playing as well as Tiger Woods did almost in his heyday. He's that good at the moment. His tee to green stuff is phenomenal. So Scotty Scheffler's the man to watch. I think he's about $4, which for a golf tournament is ridiculous odds. So he's a massive chance to win. But the Australians, they can push it this weekend. I think Jason Day, Adam Scott, and Min Woo Lee. Course history is so important. The slopes are almost... It's the slopiest golf course almost that exists on the tour. So, huge tournament. It looks amazing every year. But if I had to pick for a couple of outsiders, the 2 that I like this week, at a bit of value if you're playing the odds and want to put a bet on, I like a guy called Tony Finau. He's got a good history at the course. Doesn't win enough for mine, but I think he's playing well. And Hideki Matsuyama, who has won it before, Japanese player, I think he's primed. His last 6 weeks have been sensational, tee to green. I think he'll probably win it. Hideki Matsuyama.
But you're the oracle. You're the gospel when it comes to this sort of golf analysis, Rennie. So we'll take your word for it.
So
what time is it on TV?
I think it's at about... Well, they've finally changed these archaic rules. I think in the past, this is so typical of the US Masters, out at Augusta at Georgia, they wouldn't let you get television for the first 6 holes, or, on the opening...
Why?
Exactly.
You're right. It always, whenever it starts...
It started midway through.
Through the first round.
Is that like a special thing for people who were there?
I don't know.
Like the old cricket broadcast arrangements when you had a home game.
It's 2023.
And it's America's so progressive with broadcast rules generally. It's all about TV audience.
I think they've changed it. So
good.
I think it's...
good.
So 9:30 it all sort of starts, but whether or not it's first tee shot they show... like they do with the British Open, I'm not sure. A little bit closer to home, just before I go, Jeremy Finlayson, we're still waiting. It feels like he's probably going to get a suspension the longer it goes.
They've got to be... I can't believe they're taking this long to announce it.
Crazy.
Unless they're going to announce some sort of permanent code of conduct. So each week we're not trying to rate... Is this a hate speech that's worth 3 weeks or 4? Like, how about you violate the policy, you get this fine, you miss this many games. So there's just no grey area in the future.
I reckon this guy's caught more public shaming, though, than anyone I can remember on this issue. And it's become like a hashtag I stand with insert cause de jour here for all the look at me lefties on social media. And frankly, I wonder whether we're now at a point where the level of hurt done by his comments has actually been eclipsed more by the sort of salivating excitement of people who want to get on social media going, I'm so pious and pure that I want to make my little statement about Jeremy Finlayson too.
Mm. Yeah, it's dragged on.
A guy with no history of being a pig, no history of being a bigot. He said a terrible thing and he confessed straight away and he apologised. I just think the whole tone of it is so off the charts crazy.
It was just insane it's dragged on this long. It
Yeah.
just invites more of it.
Hope it goes and wraps up today. You would hope
Should
so.
do. All right, good stuff.
Becoming
Thanks, boys.
counterproductive for the cause of equality and respect. There's all the commentary around it now. You look at what people are saying about it. They're all saying, I am so sick of this. How much, what, we're going to nail the guy to a cross in public? People are so over it.
Good on you, Rennie.
Thanks, boys.
Thanks, Tom.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Cloudy and 21 today with the 6:30 news. I'm Graham Goodings.
Every body is unique. Let the Physio Extra team take care of your specific needs. PhysioExtra.com.
The Foreign Minister has given her strongest indication yet that Australia would support a state of Palestine. Penny Wong says doing so would increase the chance of peace in the region while working towards a two-state solution with Israel. International Relations lecturer Dr. Martin Keir has told Today the Australian government is becoming increasingly vocal in its criticism of Israel.
Well, I think that the tragic death of the Australian aid worker has really given voice to Australian government's disquiet, intense disquiet, at what's happening in Gaza and Israel's persistent ignorance of international humanitarian law in what's been happening in Gaza.
The parents of a school shooter who shot dead 4 classmates in the United States have been jailed for more than a decade for manslaughter. US correspondent Alison Petrosky.
James and Jennifer Crumbly will be the first parents to serve a prison sentence for a child's school shooting. Ethan Crumbly is serving life without parole after killing 4 students at his high school in the US state of Michigan in 2021. His parents were found guilty of involuntary manslaughter after ignoring their son's warning signs and providing him with a weapon. The court heard victim impact statements from the mother of victim, Madison Baldwin.
When you texted Ethan, don't do it. I was texting Madison, I love you, please call Mom.
Judge Cheryl Matthews said this case had kept her up at night and that the decision should be a deterrent to stop school shootings in the future.
Police will continue their search along the Air Highway today after a fatal assault and robbery earlier this year. A 67-year-old man was found unresponsive roadside with a serious head injury in January. He died from his injuries last month. Police are searching for a weapon possibly discarded along the highway. 2 people are facing charges. Both remain in custody. The group trying to save the Crown and Anchor in the city will take their campaign to Parliament House today. Greens MLC Robert Sims will move the state government formally oppose any demolition of the historic pub in a submission to the State Commission Assessment Panel. A planned development for the Grenfell Street venue features multi-storey student accommodation. Last night, supporters descended on the Adelaide Town Hall, the City Council voting to write to the Premier about the potential loss of a live music venue after a motion by the Deputy Lord Mayor. As many as 60,000 Australian jobs could be created in solar panel manufacturing over the next decade, according to new research. The Manufacturing Workers Union and the Climate Action Network have commissioned the study. They're urging the federal government to massively increase subsidies for the renewable sector. Report author Dr. Chris Briggs says new training programs are also needed.
I would single out the vocational education and training system because that's actually where most of the jobs are. You know, we're talking about electricians and mechanical technicians and a whole lot of jobs like this that are needed to drive these changes.
The amount of sugar in Fanta has been increased by 60%, reigniting calls for the government to tax sweetened drinks. Coca-Cola reduced the soft drink sugar content a few years ago as proof the industry could reform without a tax. But some of the cut sugar has since been added back. The 600ml bottle now contains an extra 4 teaspoons, taking the total in a bottle of Fanta to 16 teaspoons full of sugar. Time for sports news.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, style and safety to your home. Gliderol.com.au.
And here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. That's more than just a spoonful, isn't it? That's a fair bit
Helps the
there.
medicine go down.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to start with footy, Graham. Returning forward, Mitch Georgiades admits he's thrilled to be back playing after he booted a couple of goals against Essendon. After 12 months out of the game, Georgiades told Rowan Timmy G it made him appreciate how much he missed the game.
The whole thing for me going to the night was just to enjoy myself and enjoy being back out and playing footy at that level. And that was the intention for me. So to be part of a win like that was also nice.
Yeah, good stuff. Well, excitement is building at Augusta ahead of the golf's most famous tournament, the US Masters. Jason Day, Cam Smith, Cam Davis, Adam Scott, Minwoo Lee and amateur Jasper Stubbs make up the Australian contingent. Speaking through a translator, 2021 champion Hideki Matsuyama says he's been grateful to return every year since his first appearance 13 years ago.
And I've learned a lot. Luckily, was able to win, and now preparing to hopefully get back into the winner's circle here in another green jacket.
Yeah, I think it's a big chance. Well, late drama in the respective Champions League matches this morning. Arsenal with a second-half equaliser against Bayern Munich to help them finish the match at 2-2.
Gabriel Jesus, brilliant feet, Trossard! 2-2! The substitutes combine for Arsenal.
Audio there thanks to Stan Sport, the second leg to be played back in Germany. And there was one other match on this morning, Real Madrid and Manchester City. They played out a classic 3-3 draw. And that's the 5AA Sport.
And now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
Cloudy and 21 today, tomorrow partly cloudy 22, Friday partly cloudy 21, ditto Saturday partly cloudy 21. Right now it's 13. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base, search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
24 minutes to 7, been saying all week with daylight savings ending, it's such a nice time of day now for people that get up early. So we wanted something for our early risers to celebrate this morning. We've got a $100 Uggs to You voucher to give away. Uggs to You, local manufacturers of superior handcrafted Australian Uggs, do a beautiful job. Go in and see them on the corner of Grange and Frederick Road at Seaton. If you're up and about at this time of morning regularly for work or pleasure, check in with us. Time to call in and tell us why you're enjoying the sunlight at this time of morning. Bit of a gift for our early risers who sometimes go underserviced in the prize department. 8223 You can text us on the Duttons text line. If you're up early at this time, you're enjoying the sunlight, what are you doing? Win yourself some Uggs. You might need them because it's starting to get cool too.
I was actually thinking that I had that on my list of things we could talk about today. Broke out the Uggs yesterday for the first time in 2024. You
broke them out.
Yep, got them out. In fact, I wore them to the supermarket, and I was leaving the house, and I said to my wife, "I'm going to the supermarket in my Ugg boots, and I don't care. I just don't
Nothing wrong
care."
with that.
All I had to do was buy a tub of feta cheese. Forgot to buy some feta, so I went down there and walked straight into one of the neighbours, and he went, "Oh, g'day, Dave," and. It's always the way, isn't it, where you think, I'm just going to quickly nip down to the supermarket in my Ugg boots. But let's throw it open. Is there anything wrong with going to the supermarket?
I think the days are past of that being a fashion faux pas. I think it's so commonplace now.
Pamela Anderson wears Ugg boots in public.
Well, and you've always based your fashion choices on Pamela
have.
Anderson, so that works out well. Debbie in Semaphore, good morning.
Hi guys, how you going?
Good, thanks, Debbie.
I'm driving to work, but I'm looking at the windscreen outside. It's a bit cloudy today, but you just feel the calm and the peace. Even though there's heaps of traffic around you, there's no one beeping the horn. Everyone's, I don't know, maybe in a zombie mode because we're just driving normally in a way.
Yep. It's a much more peaceful time of day, isn't it? You're right, Debbie.
Yeah, absolutely. The sun's out. Thank you, Debbie. Let's go to Grange. Nick, good morning.
Morning, gentlemen. The reason I love the sun coming out earlier is because I'm not a vampire.
Well, that's good.
Nothing worse than waking up when it's dark. You should be sleeping when it's dark. Dark is for sleeping.
Yeah. Anything specific you do early mornings, Nick?
I now head off for my regular large cappuccino and a toasty, and then I'm off to the office to do some work. It's a beautiful morning.
That's a 5-star start to the day. Good on you, Nick. Thank you. Andrew in Prospect, what are you up early doing?
Well, I've been for my morning run, and I've been to the gym, and I've just done a morning shift with a child with a disability. But yeah, like the early mornings have certainly increased my my safety when it when it's coming to like my fitness. You know, the potential hazards of falling over on the pavement, you know, in the dark. You know, that's not a given anymore. So
Yeah, no,
where I'm going.
it's a good point, Andrew. I often see them when I'm pulling out of the driveway. There's a guy who runs around our area, and there's a couple more that run along Grange Road in the morning. And when it's pitch black, I think, crikey, that must be miserable. Much nicer when there's a bit of sun out. Bernie in Kensington Gardens, good morning.
Morning, boys. Look, morning is the best time of the day. I always wake up and think you get to have another go at the things you stuffed up the day before. But I think more importantly, there's a couple of bozos on the radio called Will Gooding and David Pemberth, and they just make me laugh. So
well, that's good, mate.
Gets my day off to a great start.
Oh, good on you, Bernie.
What frequency are they on? I must
they sound good. Good on you, Bernie.
Good,
thank you, mate. Appreciate it. Let's take one more, and then we'll give away the Uggs to You voucher, shall we? Tina and Craigmore, good morning.
Hello. I'm a disability support worker, and on Wednesdays I take a lady to a music group, so I am making them scones.
Oh, lovely.
Oh, good on you.
Is it a plain traditional scone, Tina, or are you doing something sultanas or pumpkin in it, or cheese?
Well, I'm going to put sultanas today.
Oh, lovely. That sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds magnificent. Well, you enjoy the sunlight and enjoy the early morning, Tina. Who do we like among our early risers to get an Uggs to You voucher?
I reckon let's give it to Debbie.
Debbie.
Only a short drive from Semaphore to Frederick Road as well.
Yeah.
To pick up the Uggs from the good people at Uggs to You. That's, in fact, the very Ugg boot store. Because Will, for some reason... Maybe it's because he doesn't follow the fashion trends as established by Pamela Anderson.
No, I've always been behind that curve.
Years ago, I've discovered to my horror that Will did not own a pair of Ugg boots.
Had never worn them until you bought me a pair.
So I bought him a pair.
And I got to wear them about twice, I think, before my wife co-opted them, who's a huge fan of Ugg boots.
Yeah.
She rotates multiple pairs. In fact, we've been to Uggs to You many times to replace and get new Ugg boots because she just wears them and wears them and wears them.
My wife got me into Ugg boots. She was ahead of the curve too. I'd never worn them until we got together. I think they were part of the school uniform at Dawes Road High.
And good morning to all the alumni from Dawes Road High.
Whatever it's known as now.
Let's head out on the road and check in with Jade Robin for the very first time this morning, who's cruising Adelaide in her Volkswagen Tiguan Allspace, searching for breaking news thanks to Dutton's Volkswagen. Morning to you, Jade.
Good morning, David and Will and our listeners. I am bringing you sad news this morning. I'm on the corner of Musgrove Avenue and also Welland Avenue, where there is a very, very strong police presence. Around 1:20, police found a body on the street, believed to be male. It's also believed he was assaulted, so that would mean that they are looking for a suspect. Detectives are just starting to arrive on the scene now to piece together what exactly has happened, but the street is closed and will be for some time, no doubt, as they piece together what exactly has happened. It's quite an industrial area, so people are starting to rock up for work now and obviously being turned away. There's also a gym at the end of the street as well, so if you do go to that gym at the end of Musgrove Avenue, please turn around because the street is closed and will be for some time. But look, this is a fresh story that is breaking right now, so details are light on the ground, and as soon as we get any more, of course, we'll bring those details to you as soon as we get them.
All right, Jade, thank you for that. We'll check in with SAPOL in a moment too to see if they've got any fresh information for us on that incident. 17 to 7, before we go to the break, it is the 10th of April today. Somewhat busy day in history. It was on this day in 1912 that a ship by the name of Titanic set sail on its maiden and final voyage. On this day in 1912. In 2015, Richie Benno died at the age of 84 on this day.
2015?
Yeah, 2015.
Jeez, that feels like it was more recent than that.
It does, doesn't it? 2014, he was diagnosed with skin cancer. And in 1970, on this day, Paul McCartney announced that he was quitting the Beatles. It was a week later that he released his first solo album, McCartney. It featured this song. Baby, I'm a man. Baby, I'm a The world premiere of the Beatles film Let It Be, the original version, was released a month later. It was a busy time in Beatles and musical history. 1970 on this day.
You know the amazing thing? In 1970, Paul McCartney was 27.
Wow.
He was 27 years old. So everything from Please Please Me through to
that is
Abbey Road, White Album, Let It Be, that entire catalogue of music that he did with McCartney, with Lennon, he'd done it by the age of 27. It's extraordinary, isn't it?
It's just amazing.
The guy's just an absolute prodigy.
Yeah, he is. He is. He's an absolute freak. All right, let's check traffic for the first time this morning. Thanks to Louver House, the leaders in turning your outdoor space into a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
Thanks, Will, and morning, David. At Darlington, look out for a truck fire this morning. The Southern Expressway to Second Road heading outbound. Got a few delays, but nothing too bad. At Dry Creek, a breakdown. Churchill Road near Cormac Road. Bit slow for works at Cowandilla at the moment. Marion Road near Sildonna Drive, and getting busy at Glenelg North. Tapley's Hill Road near Davey Avenue for works. Early morning cameras. Beavich Road in Farm and Ways Road in Manningham. It's happy days every Friday at IKEA. Head in store to get 50% off main dishes for IKEA family members. 11am till close every Friday at IKEA. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Struggling with your CPAP therapy? Try the world's first auto-fitting mask from Fisher & Paykel Healthcare. Respirocare Healthcare is offering the Fisher & Paykel Sleep Style device for 30% off, plus a free solo mask valued at $310. Visit one of 6 Respirocare clinics and mention this ad to redeem this offer. Respirocare Healthcare, proudly serving South Australia for 20 years. When considering whether CPAP is right for you, speak to your doctor. Always follow the directions for use.
Are you thinking about a sea change? Where you can walk to the beach and be part of a close community? Think Oakford Homes at Encounter Bay. You can live in a brand new low-maintenance home with all facilities close by. Fixed price turnkey packages, flat land, ready to build. Move in now or invest for the future. Oakford Homes at Encounter Bay. Come down for a drive and look through our display village and see why Stage 1 is nearly sold out. Oakford Homes, a statement of quality. oakfordhomes.com.au.
Hi, I'm Victoria from The Family Cook. I'm passionate about cooking wholesome, fresh and delicious meals. We're the only meal delivery service based in South Australia using hand-selected premium ingredients such as free-range chicken, grass-fed beef, Australian fish and locally sourced vegetables and herbs. Our customers love it and I can guarantee you'll love it too. And we're proudly an NDIS provider. Jump on board thefamilycook.com.au.
Slow down. You in some kind of hurry?
Yep, I felt like life was getting away from me. These new shoes are letting me catch up again. I just feel like I've got more energy.
Well, they're worth it. Where'd you get them?
At Gilmore's. They even measured my feet like when we were kids.
I used to love that. Extra energy, hey?
Ross loves it. He's heading to Gilmore's this afternoon.
Maybe I should join him.
How about you take your own husband instead?
Oh, haha.
Gilmore's Comfort Shoes, South Road, Melrose Park, opposite Castle Plaza.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base. Search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
12 to 7, mild start to the day, but a consistent pattern of weather we seem to be in at the moment. Unless Simon Timke at the Weather Bureau has something different to tell us. Simon, good morning to you. What's Wednesday looking like?
Morning, Will. Morning, David. Yeah, pretty similar conditions to yesterday. Maybe not quite so cold, though. We have had quite a bit of cloud push up from the south overnight, which has stopped our minimum temperature dropping quite so low. So a couple of degrees warmer this time than yesterday. We had an overnight minimum 11.4 this morning, currently sitting on 12.7 degrees in the city. And I think during the day, a tiny bit warmer than yesterday as well. We're expecting a maximum of 21 for the city today. Around the suburbs, 20 degrees for Noarlunga and Glenelg, 19 for Mount Barker and Elizabeth. The wind's generally pretty southerly, and I think we'll have a bit of cloud around on and off at times during the day, but the odd break here and there, so we might see a little bit of sunshine. Should be dry over the Adelaide Plains, maybe the odd light shower or two about the hills and southern suburbs. Currently, though, the radar is clear over the Adelaide area, but there are a couple of showers pushing up over the Gulf, heading towards the York Peninsula eastern coast. The next couple of days, not a lot of change. Pretty similar weather. We've got a very slow-moving high-pressure ridge that's sort of dominating our weather through the late part of this week. So a similar day on the way tomorrow, partly cloudy, dry over the Adelaide Plains, but a chance of a shower about the hills and southern suburbs again. The wind's still southerly, temperatures down to 11 overnight and a maximum of 22 for Thursday. Friday, pretty similar day again, down to 10 overnight, 21 degrees the maximum. Saturday, similar again, 10 for the minimum, 21 for the maximum with the southerly winds once again. But we will start to see a bit of a change for Sunday. The high eventually moves out over the Tasman, so we'll see the temperatures rise a little bit. Partly cloudy but dry day on Sunday with light winds, 24 the maximum, 23 for Monday, 22 for Tuesday next week. So coolish sort of weather, and as you said, Will, not much change really in the pattern for the rest of the week.
Good stuff, Simon. Thank you for that. Simon Timke at the Bureau of Meteorology. Let's head over to SAPOL. Senior Constable Kate Dawson joins us. Kate, there's been a suspicious death at Welland.
Yeah, this is all unfolding just this morning, so hopefully we'll be able to bring you some more information later in the day. So at about 1:30am, emergency services were called to Bar Power Street in Welland after reports that a man was unresponsive on the roadway. So witnesses attempted to render assistance to the man, but sadly he's died at the scene. So our investigations into what has actually unfolded are continuing this morning, and we've got major crime down there as well as crime scene investigators, Western District Detectives and Western Patrols. They'll be remaining at the scene this morning. So Bar Power Street and Musgrave Avenue are currently closed to all foot traffic and road traffic. We're just asking anybody with any information, including dashcam footage or CCTV footage if you've got some on your home or a business in the area, to please contact Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000.
Yeah, we've got Jade there. We'll be sticking with that story throughout the show. Kate, also a drink driver was caught not far from Welland at Flinders Park last night.
Yeah, this was about 9:15 last night. Police were patrolling in the Findon area when they saw a ute leaving a hotel car park. So the patrol followed the vehicle into the back streets before stopping on Gould Street in Flinders Park for a mobile breath test. The driver's a 41-year-old Flinders Park man. He recorded a blood alcohol reading of 0.166, which is more than 3 times the legal limit. So this driver, he was only a few streets away from his home when he's been reported for drink driving, lost his licence on the spot for 12 months, and his car has been impounded. We're just banging our heads against a brick wall here. There's so many other options to get home. You just need to plan ahead. In this man's case, he probably could have actually just walked. But, call a mate, have a Desi driver, Uber, taxi, public transport. There's just really no excuses anymore. He's going to be out of action for about 12 months now. So
but it's
really,
just so tedious. Like, we talk about this almost every day, it seems. We had the woman in Glengarry who was off at Chops on a Monday. Only a couple of days ago, side-swiping cars.
Tuesday night this time, so...
What's that? Kingsley Amos, the great writer, he said the only thing worse than a physical hangover is a metaphysical hangover where you wake up just gripped by self-loathing. Surely these people, you wake up after doing something like that, you go out the driveway, you go, where's my car?
Yeah.
How am I going to get to work? How am I going to tell my parents, my wife? Like, that is one hell of a metaphysical hangover, isn't it?
Yes, I totally agree. Yeah, it's really stuffed him up for the next 12 months, I think. So, but just silly decisions.
Yeah, well, you make your cocktails, you lie in them sometimes, don't you? Kate Dawson there from SAPOL. Thanks for that, Kate.
Getting some more reports through about the impact of the truck that was on fire at Darlington on the Southern Expressway. There are delays now building for outbound traffic. We've got a couple of people texted, Josh among them earlier, that said, that there is a truck on fire there. Now sounds like it's going to be a bit of a traffic issue. If you're driving through the area, you've been through it, how long did it hold it up for you? Let us know. Appreciate all your intel on traffic matters throughout the morning. 8223 0000 or 0448 08 1395. Something of an anomaly this morning. If you pick up the Tizer and get to page 10 and 11, or what would be page 10 and 11, there is a huge double-page advertisement, David, reading, "The future of SA's museum is at risk."
Hundreds and hundreds of people have signed it. A lot of them people from the world of research, curation, academia, a lot of people from natural history organisations, bird groups, fish, a lot of Indigenous artefact experts, and quite a few pollies as well. I'd say, though, all the pollies have signed it. The issue with the South Australian Museum, this has been a slow motion decline through years of indifference. I think. And we're now at a point where, and the Malinowskis government is being told that it needs to inject $10 million a year to restore/save the museum. But it feels like it's been unloved for too long. Now, the issue at the moment is that the board, the current board, has really got everyone's shackles up by saying, all right, we're in deep financial poop and we're going to make some tough decisions. They've said that there's 27 researchers. This is the thing that's really upset so many of the experts and the natural historians and so on. The museum's floated a plan to get rid of 27 researchers, which is a huge hit. And it's got implications for our universities as well, for anthropology and geography and all the other sort of allied disciplines. The other thing, and this is where I think a lot of people, and love to hear from you folks, 8223 a lot of us have got a real emotional connection going back to our childhood with the museum.
Absolutely.
One of the things they've floated is, I don't know what they're going to do to it, maybe even get rid of it, but talking about their Egyptology collection.
What, flogging it off, selling it?
I don't know. But they've put that, with no detail as to what they're thinking about. The board has commented about, well, we've got a lot of things, like we've got this Egypt collection. It's like, yeah, you have. I reckon that's the best room at the museum.
Yeah, certainly among them. I love that place, but we're going to try and speak with someone with a bit more knowledge of the issue over the course of the morning. I'm just intrigued as to what has led to this state of affairs. Is it the commercial arm of it? Is it that have they not reinvented themselves enough to get people through the doors? Is it struggle? Do they not have the budget to attract big exhibitions that often travel around? They've had some great exhibitions. Speaking of Egyptology and so forth in recent years, one of which I went and had a look at.
It hasn't changed for a long time though.
Because if you think, I'm just thinking of it,
it hasn't changed substantially. There's a few new. Well, the other thing that they mentioned was their Mawson exhibition, their Antarctica exhibit, as being up for grabs. I actually reckon that's one of the better ones.
I actually think it's all good stuff, but you're right, and I don't know if this is a fair comparison or not. Again, we'll speak to someone later, but I think right next to you got the art gallery that reinvents itself all the time. You go in there and they've rearranged all the collections. They've focused on something different. There'll be someone touring or something going on there. I wonder if and maybe it's more complicated than just you and I going through the door. Maybe there are bigger issues there with research and how the whole thing's funded. But
what about the stuffed animals on arrival? The one moment when South Australia's taxidermists had the absolute best financial year of their lives, probably in about 1981 or something. Is that there because it gets kids through the door? Is that there because school groups go crazy for it?
I reckon it's also that I don't think the overheads are huge.
Well, I know that you don't need to feed them.
I'm not sure you're getting a lot if you flog them off either.
No, but I that feels really dated to me.
It does.
Particularly the line where you walk past it and its tail goes up. I think the bloke who made that made the winking kangaroo for the Brisbane Commonwealth Games.
Well, Jared just texted us on the Duttons text line. This is really important. He says, guys, I'd encourage all families who haven't been to the museum in years to go during the next 2 weeks in school holidays. I'm going to take my 3-year-old son. It's too important to lose. Couldn't agree with Jared's sentiments more. If you've been through there recently, or when was the last time you were at the museum? If the problem is we all remember it only from being there once when we went to school, then that's obviously that's a problem for its business model too. But give us a call, let us know. 8223 0000. Text us on 0480 1395, the Duttons text line.
I reckon we'd go there at least twice a year.
Twice a year? Wow, okay, that's pretty good.
Me and my son Sam, we got a bit of a nerd alliance, us two. We like doing stuff like that.
Yeah, museums are great.
Yeah, they're good. They're really good.
All right, 5AA News is coming up. Let us know your thoughts, folks. We're going to take a quick break and take you through a wrap of the morning stories next. In fact, we might revisit what's going on at Welland there with Jade Robrin shortly too, because that will be a developing story, not just throughout the morning, but indeed the day.
Having access to reliable healthcare services gives us all peace of mind. Too many South Australians living hundreds of kilometres from Adelaide have a local hospital that doesn't have enough nurses or midwives. Frightening? Without state government action, we won't have the nurses and midwives needed to keep our regional hospitals running. Support those who care for us at regionalincentives.com.au. Authorised by EDBAR's ANMF SA branch Ridleyton.
Hey, you in the car? If your next service is due, just remember that Mawson Lakes Mazda has your back. We'll take care of you with next day servicing, complimentary loan car, vacuum and wash, and your breakfast or lunch is on us. Your car gets the love too, with our state-of-the-art service centre brimming with top-trained mechanics. At Mawson Lakes Mazda, we'll look after your car and look after you. Mawson Lakes Mazda, just a short drive from the city.
For over 3 decades, Regent Homes has been synonymous with crafting architecturally bespoke homes, each one a testament to Regent Homes' unwavering commitment to design, quality and sophistication. And because Regent Homes is a South Australian family-owned company, they understand more than anyone what it takes to build a family home. Experience Regent Homes' award-winning display homes at Lightsview and Blackwood Park. Innovative design, elevated living. Visit regenthomes.com.au.
Hello, Frank Walker from National Tiles. After months of waiting, our all-new Mirage Italian-made floor tiles are now in store at a once-only introductory saving of $30 per square metre. That's right, as a once-only introductory offer, save $30 per square metre on these magnificent all-new Italian-made floor tiles. But only, yes, only for this first shipment. So rush into National Tiles now and save.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base, search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast. Up-to-the-minute news for South Australia. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide. In Adelaide.
Cloudy and 21 today with the 7 o'clock news. Good morning. I'm Graham Goodings.
Injured or living with chronic pain? Book an appointment at Physio Extra today. 6 locations. physioextra.com.
Police are investigating a suspicious death at Welland this morning. Senior Constable Kate Dawson says a man was found unresponsive on Bar Powell Street around 1:30 a.m.
Witnesses attempted to render assistance to the man, but sadly he's died at the scene. So our investigations into what has actually unfolded are continuing this morning, and we've got major crime down there as well as crime scene investigators, Western District Detectives and Western Patrols. They'll be remaining at the scene this morning.
The state government is moving to get tough on crooks who recruit children to commit crimes. Under proposed legislation, perpetrators would face up to 15 years in jail, or even more if the offence committed by the youth can attract a greater sentence. Attorney General Kayam Ma says anyone who involves children in crime deserves to face the full force of the law.
These will be the toughest laws of their kind anywhere in the country, and adults who do this sort of thing will now face up to 15 years in jail for recruiting children to commit crimes, and you won't have to show the crime was actually committed.
SAPOL is sending reinforcements to Alice Springs today. Mel Usher reports.
The deployment of 20 SA police officers to help on the ground in the Northern Territory town has been controversial. A 2-week youth curfew was imposed in Alice Springs on March 27 due to escalating violence. It's now been extended by another 6 days. Under the arrangement, 2 week-long rotations of 10 officers drawn from the State Operations Support Branch will head north. SAPOL says sending local police officers to other jurisdictions is nothing new, and no current police operation will be impacted as a result of the 2 deployments.
Police will continue their search along the Air Highway today after a fatal assault and robbery earlier this year. A 67-year-old man was found unresponsive roadside with a serious head injury in January. He died from his injuries last month. Police are searching for a weapon possibly discarded along the highway. 2 people are facing charges. Both remain in custody. A new report predicts tens of thousands of jobs could be created over coming decades if Australia boosts investment in renewable energy. The Manufacturing Workers Union and the Climate Action Network are urging the federal government to provide more funding to the sector. Report author Dr. Chris Briggs says as many as 60,000 jobs could be created in solar panel manufacturing alone.
Renewable energy is going to be a strategic technology that's key to our future economic development, and most countries are now looking at it through that sort of geopolitical strategic lens as well as an economic lens, and therefore funding it like that. So the government certainly needs to show ambition if we're going to realise these opportunities.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Colours, custom design, any house, any style. Gliderol Garage Doors. Gliderol.com.au.
And here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. Let's start with footy. Adelaide's players will hit the training track this morning as they look to shake off their sluggish start to the season and cause a big boil-over against Carlton on Saturday at Marvel Stadium. Port is still waiting to hear what penalty awaits Jeremy Finlayson for his slur last Friday night against Essendon. Meantime, Melbourne has lost a challenge at the AFL Tribunal overnight. Jordan Tunbridge reports.
Cozzy Pickett's one-game ban for rough conduct has been upheld, meaning he'll miss Melbourne's home game against Brisbane tomorrow night. The Demons failed to convince the AFL Tribunal that the force of Pickett's head-high bump should be downgraded from medium impact to low. It is the third time Pickett has been suspended since the start of last season, but speaking on Fox Footy, teammate Christian Petrarca doesn't want him to change.
He plays with an intensity and an edge about him that as a teammate I love playing with. And I know opposition players, like I'm scared at training when he's trying to tackle me and trying to chase me down.
Let's go to soccer. A couple of thrilling games in the Champions League this morning with Arsenal and Bayern Munich playing out a 2-2 draw. That was in the first leg of their quarter-final tie, while it was 3-3 between Real Madrid and Manchester City in this morning's other match. To cricket, in the IPL, the Sunrisers Hyderabad have recorded a thrilling 2-run win against the Punjab Kings. South Aussie Travis Head made 21 off 15 balls for his Sunrisers, while his teammate Pat Cummins took 1 for 22 off his 4 overs. And at the Monte Carlo Masters, Alexander Vukic, the Aussie, went down in 3 sets to French veteran Gael Monfils. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Lynn Andrews Real Estate. Experts in commercial and residential property management. lynnandrews.com.au.
Morning there at Darlington, a truck fire to look out for. It's on the Southern Expressway near Seacombe Road. Dry Creek, a breakdown, Churchill Road near Cormac Road. And we're slow for works at Cowandilla, Marion Road near Sir Donald Rapid Drive, speeds at 40. Getting busy at the moment at Edwardstown, Cross Road near Churchill Avenue for works with early morning cameras, Blacks Road, Gillis Plains and Flaxley Road at Flaxley. You wouldn't operate a chainsaw blindfolded, so why dig without searching before you dig first? If you don't, you're digging blind. Search before you dig online every time. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
21 and cloudy today. Tomorrow partly cloudy 22. Friday partly cloudy 21. Same Saturday, partly cloudy 21. Right now, it's 13. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base. Search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
7 after 7, good morning to you if you're joining us for the very first time on this Wednesday morning, the 10th of April. We're going to start our news wrap of the day in Welland, where Jade Robberin has been at the scene of what police are calling a suspicious death. Jade, not only have you got the latest, but you've managed to catch up with some of the first on scene, and good morning to you.
Good morning. Yes, Will, that's right. A body was found around 1:30 this morning, believed to be a male. I'm hearing he was assaulted and witnesses tried to save the man, but sadly couldn't. Now, the incident occurred on Barpowell Avenue, which backs onto Linear Park. That street is closed, as well as where I am, on the corner of Welland and Musgrave Avenue. Now, a really strong police presence is here, obviously. Major crime officers, crime scene investigators, and Western District detectives are all here. The area will be blocked off for some time as they try and piece together what has happened here in the early hours of this morning. But police are appealing for any witnesses to come forward or anyone with any information to contact Crime Stoppers. It's quite an industrial working area, quite a few factories, so a lot of people are arriving for work and to go to the gym at the end of the street. Also, they're being turned away. I spoke to Ken, who arrived about 5:30 this morning. He's worked in the area for some time. Here he is. I'm here with Richard King, who works in the area. Richard, what did you witness here this morning?
I've rocked up early to work like I normally do. I normally park down Side Street and just seen all the bunting and the police cars. And I was wondering what's going on. Is there like a standoff or something? So I parked in the car park, which I don't normally park at work because it gets full. And then, so then I was informed that there's someone had been murdered or died. So, it's a bit surprising.
Have you got any idea who it is? Have you been told any details?
I haven't been told anything. I probably know as much as you guys, and just it surprises me, but doesn't surprise me that this could be an area because a lot of people walk through here and walk to the river. It's a thoroughfare for people with their dogs and walk their dogs, ride their bikes, fitness people.
Does it feel like an unsafe area? Is this come as a shock?
I don't think it's an unsafe area. Just with people walking around that, they seem comfortable because I've seen this lady. She's a regular walking with a dog. So if a female's walking with a dog, for me, it's a safe area. I do see some vagrants, but they're like harmless people. Like one guy that just walks around and he collects cigarette butts and stuff like that. So I don't see anything like that. It's like don't see any aggression or anything like that around this area. But then again, I work in here. I come to work and I work and then I go home. But I don't see anything like that.
Thank you for that, Jade. Again, terrific insight, great report. We spoke with SAPOL about 25 minutes ago, who said there'll be further updates on that story over the course of the day. Nothing official yet, but horrible, very troubling circumstance.
And
there
mysterious.
Yeah.
And as the fellow Jade was talking to then, it's not like you associate Welland with violent crime.
No, not at all. Not at all. Other news around this morning, the first group of 10 SA police officers deployed to the Northern Territory fly out today, heading to Alice Springs as reinforcements. There's currently a 2-week youth curfew in the town. That's now going to be extended by another 6 days because the violence hasn't stopped. 2 groups of 10 officers will be sending over here from South Australia. Each will stay a week. SAPOL have reiterated that no current police operation in SA will be impacted as a result of the 2 deployments. Here's Alice Springs Mayor Matt Patterson speaking last night about the decision to extend the curfew.
Yeah, I, like many in the community, welcome the extension. The Chief Minister's showed a tremendous amount of leadership, in my opinion, to extend it, to take us through school holidays. I, like many in the community, think that it's a fantastic idea, and we've seen a lot of proactive policing. We've seen the resources out in the community and engaging, and I think that the longer that it's in, the more beneficial it'll be for Alice Springs.
Geez, it's a complicated situation, isn't it? Like, it's just so full on up there. And I was thinking, so much of the discussion around Indigenous issues in this country falls into either the really punitive, like you hear a lot of people going, look, we just need to lock these troublemakers up. Or we need to intervene, send in the troops. And then on the other side of the equation, and best evidenced by the blatherings of the Adelaide Hills Council last night, it's the symbolic. It's all the, what do we do about Australia Day? Maybe we can move the event so it's less hurtful to people's feelings, but let's not discuss it with the ratepayers. Let's just make the decision on our own. And, is there a chance out of Alice Springs to have something enduring and meaningful there? Like, I don't know, Traeger Park's got a capacity of 7,000, I think, 10,000. Why don't we turn it into an even bigger stadium and create some big sign-on, almost like work for welfare program where you're part of a project? And the AFL could get involved in this. I mean, it'd be a perfect fit, given that Aussie Rules is the only category where Indigenous people are overrepresented for good. They're 5% of the population, 7 or 8% of the playing list. Have some big project that is actually going to give people skills. Get the mining companies involved in it too.
It's a good idea because it's an actual idea. And as you say, the solutions are hard, but hashtags are really easy. Then going hashtag lock them up or hashtag change the date.
Well, how about if you're a 15-year-old in Alice Springs now, and upon getting taken to the cop shop, you're also, when you get there, you meet someone from the local equivalent of TAFE who says, there's a way out of this for you, and it's called an apprenticeship. Like, that might sound like a Pollyanna thing to say, but there's so many Indigenous people in this country who've made a success of themselves by just getting skills the way the rest of us get skills. I don't know, it seems to be something that people argue about on Twitter as opposed to something where there's any lateral thought about changing a recurring pattern of terrible behaviour.
Yeah, well, it's a totally reasonable observation.
I mean, the Australia Day stuff got nothing to do with any of it. And just watching that council last night, what a waste of intellectual effort that whole thing is.
Completely. Over in the United States, I'm intrigued by this story because it goes to something on a much smaller scale we've talked about a lot in Australia, and in fact in South Australia on the issue of youth crime. At what point are parents culpable? At what point are parents responsible? There's been some analysis about a verdict that's come out overnight from the United States, from law experts that are saying prosecutors in that country are trying to broaden the definition of responsibility for things like mass shootings to not just the person who pulled the trigger, but maybe even their parents. And the most dramatic version of that has just played out. The parents of a Michigan teenager who shot dead 4 students have each been sentenced to 10 to 15 years in prison.
The parents have?
The parents have received 10 to 15 years in prison. A 7-year sentence was recommended initially. Prosecutors went, nah, this is going to become an example. We want more. James and Jennifer Crumley are now the first parents of a US shooter to be convicted. They appeared separately over the course of the trial, but then together for the sentencing hearing. They said they regretted what happened in their son's attack. They didn't apologise, though. Jurors found each parent separately guilty of involuntary manslaughter earlier in the year. So this was just the sentencing part that took place. Have a listen to Judge Cheryl Matthews. I'll read her quote. She said the expanded sentence of 10 to 15 years was to act as a deterrent. They, that is the parents, are not expected to be psychic, but these convictions are not about poor parenting. They concern acts that could have halted a runaway train. Opportunity knocked over and over again, louder and louder, and it was ignored. This is a story about school shooting, but I reckon a lot of people at home will be listening to this going, I wonder what is the broader application of this kind of thinking. That is, parents stopping the runaway train.
Well, if you're the 14-year-old kid who's got the sledgehammer and you're on Grange Road, and we saw the video yesterday from the CCTV of that wellness store, Samantha Goulter was the lady's name, who Jade interviewed. Where are those parents?
Was this the first time they'd snuck out and done something wrong?
No.
Prosecutors alleged in this case that this pair had dismissed clear signs that their son's mental health had deteriorated and noted the parents had bought Ethan Crumley the gun he used in the 2021 attack.
Who buys their kid a gun?
Their mentally unwell kid a gun, who they've stopped getting seen to appropriately. That's why they got 10 to 15 years. But I just think this is one of those interesting stories that a lot of people go, that's a new way of thinking about these kind of things. Or maybe it's a really old way of thinking about it that might come back into vogue.
Well, there's been cases in Australia, indeed I can think of one in Adelaide, where one of the people who was charged as an accessory to murder ended up being prosecuted over buying the gun for the shooter, who subsequently killed somebody. So why should it be any different if you're a parent?
It's a great question.
It should actually be more different, because you should, in a nurturing, loving relationship, you should know that your kid's got mental issues, and you should be providing them with care, not an automatic weapon, semi-automatic weapon.
Fascinated what our audience thinks about that. 8223 text us on the Duttons text line. Does it fill you with concern as a parent, or do you think maybe this is an extension of parental responsibility? I mean, this is obviously an extreme case we're talking about here, but is there a broader application? Let us know. Duttons Mitsubishi, the new Gen Triton has landed. Book your test drive today. Duttons, they're easy to do business with. A few texts coming through since we last checked.
One here from Scott in Modbury says, morning boys, there's no way you will read this out, but I waste my time anyway. Well, we will, Scott. How about we stop wasting money funding people to have children that they do not want? More kids equals more money. It is insanity. We need to change the welfare system. Another one here talking about how we do need to have a focus on training because it's what leads to people having a successful and stable life. A lot of messages about the museum as well. Real affection for the museum. Simon from Seaford says, I'm not sure of the museum's business model though, with free entry. I don't know how they get any turnover outside a handful of coffees and cakes in the cafe. Our 2 boys who are 5 and 4 love the museum. My wife and I note, though, that they all like the same old exhibitions that we did when we were kids, old exhibitions and old technology.
When they get exhibitions through, you pay, don't you?
Yeah.
If they get special,
there's always general entry, which is free.
That's right. But then there's...
Yeah, like Tony from Montague Farm, he says, last time I was at the museum was for the Lego exhibition they had for my 51st birthday. That was a paid one, I think. And they've had some cool paid dinosaur ones over the years as well. And one here, when my kids were little, they're now in their 20s, but we used to go to the museum once a fortnight. They never got sick of going. In fact, they look forward to it. So much to do and the Discovery Centre scat drill was their favourite.
Thank you. Keep them coming through. Dutton's text line. Let's check traffic. We'll talk sport in just a moment. Louver House, the leaders in turning your outdoor space into a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
Thanks, Will. A Darlington to truck fire. The Southern Expressway near Seacombe Road. Delays heading outbound at the moment, just as you're going up the hill. At Dry Creek, a breakdown. Churchill Road near Cormac Road. Slow for works at Cowandilla. Marion Road near St Donald Rapid Drive. And a bit sluggish at South Brighton too for works. Brighton Road near Folkestone Road, speeds at 40. Cameras, Fosters Road, Oakton, and Grand Junction Road at Hope Valley. It's the 40 Wings 40-hour sale. Get up to 50% off store-wide when you shop online or in-store. But hurry, sale ends Sunday at 40 Winks. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
5AA Mornings with Matthew Pantelis.
Darcy at Greenwith on trucks.
No one's ever mentioned this before when it came to the mobile phone cameras, but trucks have the T-cam set up at Jeps Cross, and they see into the cab to see if you're wearing your seatbelt. That's why the cattle trucks have the big foil window visors and all that.
Matthew Pantelis.
You know, it looks like Dickie Needs driving the truck.
Weekday mornings from 9 on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Ignition for Men. Adelaide's home of luxury menswear offer an impeccable range of suits by leading Italian brands, including tailor-made suits using the finest Italian fabrics from Zegna, Canali, Zignoni, Holland & Sherry, along with many more. Special occasions or business, stand out in a tailor-made suit by Ignition for Men. Call into Ignition for Men at 54 Paynham Road, Stepney, or visit ignitionformen.com.au.
Doing your bit for our planet is easy. Drink Fluorio milk, now available in a glass bottle. No plastic, no waste. Fluorio Milk Company is proud to bring back milk in a glass bottle. It's easy. Look for milk refill stations in your supermarket, purchase your own glass bottle, fill it with amazing Fluorio milk, take it home, drink it, wash it and bring it back to use again. No plastic, no waste. Visit fluoriomilkco.com.au for locations.
Now, how good's this? Live Golf Adelaide back for its second year and the excitement is in full swing. It's golf but louder. Don't miss this global golfing spectacle as it tees off right here in our own backyard.
Yeah, how about the names too? Coming out to see the world's best golfers in action up close, like John Rahm, Brooks Koepka, Cam Smith, Phil Mickelson, DJ, Dustin Johnson, and more. Live represents, of course, the Roman numeral for 54. Now, that's how many holes of top-shelf golfing action you can expect to see.
But look, it's an action-packed weekend. Even if you're not a golf fan, you can enjoy shotgun starts and fan village action, plus amazing live performances from headline music acts.
Live Golf Adelaide runs April 26 to 28. Kids under 12 enter free. Tickets at livegolf.com.
Join over 60,000 Adelaide homes and say yes to lowering your energy bills with Yes, your energy saving solutions. Yes offers a range of money-saving solutions to upgrade your home and downgrade your energy bills. With subsidies on ceiling insulation, air conditioning, hot water services and LED lighting installations, rebates on new appliances and incentives for recycling your old fridges, it's easy to say yes to Yes. Find out more about your energy saving solutions. Go to yess.net.au.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base, search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
22 after 7, stack of calls coming through. We'll take those before we talk sport. Starting in Shido Park with Richard. Good morning to you, Richard.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good, mate.
Just to say, when you were talking about the Alice Springs, I'm in favour of the police going up there. I'm in favour that the township is improved and it's back to a tourist area. I actually work out of Alice Springs, so I come back home and I go up there for a period of time. I won't say who I work for, but unfortunately some of these children who are doing the wrong road traffic or wrong line of lifestyle may not have been guided by parents who would guide them in a normal way, like your father or your mother would have guided you to a sports complex or things like that. Now, these children do like playing football. Lunchtime is the main sports, is kicking a football on a concrete surface, and their goal points are a basketball ring. If they hit the backboard of the basketball ring, it's a goal to the team, either end, under the canopy, under a shade cloth, because of their area. So the problem is a lot of these youths are not being guided at a younger age, like I would have stated before. Your father would have said, well, let's go and clean up the street, or let's go and help Bill next door with some rubbish. They're not guided to that facility.
Yeah, it's a good observation, Richard. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for your insights, too, having seen it up close. Let's go to Seaford. Trevor, good morning.
Good morning, boys. Now, two accidents that really stand out. The one where the two brothers stole a ute and hit that nurse down the bottom of the expressway when it was one way. You remember that?
Yep.
Right. And 3 weeks later, this is the one that gets me. They went on Salisbury Highway where another nurse was killed. A 13-year-old was driving the car with the father sitting in the passenger seat. What happened to him?
Yeah, well, that's a pretty obvious one, I think, where the parents got direct responsibility.
Yeah, totally.
Thank you, Trevor. Let's go to Hallett Cove. Martin, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Just listening to your conversation about the two parents charged and accountability.
Yeah.
In today's day and age, like our parents or parents today cannot discipline, spank, yell or scream or control their children in public because they get the risk of getting charged with assault and stuff like that. It's not like when I was a child. I was born in 1968. If I arced up and I was naughty, I'd get my ass kicked there and then in the middle of the shopping aisle. Parents today, if they're going to be held accountable, they need to be given the tools and the resources to be able to discipline their children in public. You know, and I do understand the spanking side of things, but it's a real double-edged sword that you're going down with that.
Don't you reckon, though, mate, you can control your kids without hitting them?
You can control your kids without hitting them if you know how to handle your kids, but it's sort of like, you know, you see some parents with their kids and like they're just like full on throwing stuff around the shop, and then you can see the level of like, you know, I just don't know how to deal with my child because, you know, if I stand here and scream at him, you're going to scream at me for screaming and abusing my child, or I'm going to get in trouble. And if I spank my child, I risk getting charged with assault for assaulting my child. It's a real double-edged sword. I'm not condoning spanking. I'm not condoning, you know, anything here. I'm just, yeah, it's how the accountability, parents' accountability for their children's actions. It's a real double-edged sword, and yeah, I just wow.
Yeah, okay, Martin. Thank you. Appreciate that. Let's go to Hawthorn. Glenn, good morning.
Good morning, boys. How you going?
Good, mate.
Good, thanks, Glenn.
I'm very annoyed. I hope Mr. Tom Koutsanodis is listening this morning. Mountain bike boys, and they hop on at Mixon Station on the weekends and public holidays. Look good for getting out and about and not sitting home on the bloody computer. But have a bit of decency and respect for others that hop on board, especially the elderly. The swearing is out of control. The PSAs are incredible people, and so is the Wilson security guards. They cannot put them off. They never validate. They are so abusive to the security guards. And I pushed the emergency stop button on Saturday after the swearing and the carry-on. It was absolutely ridiculous.
Well, that's terrible, Glenn. And we do know Minister Koutsanodis does listen to the program, so it may be an issue they're aware of. Maybe it's just new to him just now, but we will follow that one up for you, Glenn, and we do appreciate your call. Let's flick the switch to sport temporarily because there's a bit going on in that space. No update on the Jeremy Finlayson case, though. That is expected to come later today. Last night on the sports show, in a little segment they call Coach's Corner with Scott Camporelli, Campo had a bit to say about a number of key stats on which the Crows have fallen behind with their horror start to 2024.
The number of kicks inside 50. They've had 195 kicks inside 50. That's ninth in the competition. So it's not a supply thing. So the first thing you tick off is, are we getting enough? I would suggest that Adelaide are probably getting enough in terms of in. Now, we can argue where they're getting them in from and all that sort of thing, but their retention is 17th, their marking is 18th, they're losing 18th, so they're getting outmarked, which we've seen.
Which we know.
Their percentage of goal is 18th, their score is 18th, and they're 18th from attacking through the corridor.
Not listening. That is
That's a
diabolical.
trend. That's a trend. So I'll ask you the question. So these are the why. So kicking efficiency has gone from number 1 to 11th. So why is that? Is that the opposition pressure? Are they shutting it down? Are they going gun shy?
Could be a bit of that.
You know, is it expectation? Are they nervous? Is it personnel in terms of going in?
I don't know, but none of it makes me feel good about things.
Yeah. La 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 la. I'm in a happy place.
You know what you don't ever
Keep
want
the
to
faith, Crows fans.
You know what you don't ever want to find yourself doing when someone's reading out stats is asking, how many teams are there in the competition? 18th puts us where exactly? Nowhere good. Thank you, Campo. Appreciate that. Looking forward to the call on Saturday, actually, with Campo and Rowie for the Crows game. Let's go to a break. 5AA News is coming up. We're going to go around the courts with Sean Fuster in just a moment.
In tough times, it's the simple things that make a big difference. Like $19 schnitzel days at the Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior and the Lighthouse Wharf. We know the humble schnitty can't fix all our problems, but we do know it'll put a smile on your dial. $19 schnitty, Mondays, Tuesdays and Wednesdays at the Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior and the Lighthouse Wharf. Making the world a better place, one schnitty at a time. Got to start somewhere. You just know it's a Barreau Hotel.
What is Luva House? Simple. Luva House turns your outdoor area into a stunning entertainment space with an opening and closing roof. With rain sensors, you'll keep winter out. And when you need to, you can let the light in, so you can be outdoors and entertain all year round. Best of all, they're manufactured right here in SA with options like LED lighting. But you be the judge. Find out more with a free design, measure and quote. See the light with Luva House. luvahouse.com.au.
For those whose pool is the main feature of their yard, Walco offer a special mesh cover to keep debris and leaves out while making your pool area look stunning all through winter. Join the great cover-up and ask Walco about their stylish new mesh pool covers. Walco.com.au.
This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Cloudy and 21 today with the 7:30 news. I'm Graham Goodings.
Everybody is unique. Let the Physio Extra team take care of your specific needs. PhysioExtra.com.
A crime scene has been set up at Welland after the death of a man this morning. He was found unresponsive on Barpal Street around 1:30 a.m. Witnesses tried to revive him, but he died at the scene. Senior Constable Kate Dawson says investigations are continuing into what happened.
We're just asking anybody with any information, including dashcam footage or CCTV footage if you've got someone in your home or a business in the area, to please contact Crime Stoppers.
The first group of 10 SA police officers deployed to the Northern Territory will fly out today. They're headed to Alice Springs as reinforcements. The town is currently under a 2-week youth curfew, which will now be extended by another 6 days due to ongoing violence. At this stage, there'll be 2 groups of 10 officers and each will stay a week. SAPOL says no current police operation will be impacted as a result of the 2 deployments. The parents of a teenage schoolboy who killed 4 of his classmates in a school shooting in the US state of Michigan have each been sentenced to at least 10 years in jail. Prosecutors say Jennifer and James Crumbly had been criminally negligent for giving a weapon to their son Ethan as a Christmas present and ignoring signs that his mental health was getting worse. In sentencing the parents, Judge Cheryl Matthews said there had been a serious lack of responsible action.
Parents are not expected to be psychic. But these convictions are not about poor parenting. These convictions confirm repeated acts or lack of acts that could have halted an oncoming runaway train.
Ethan Crumbly is serving a life sentence for murder and other crimes. Saving the Crown and Anchor had a win at the Town Hall last night. The City Council voting to write to the Premier about the potential loss of a live music venue. Today, the Save the Cranker campaign will be on North Terrace, where the Greens' Robert Sims will move the Malinauskas government oppose any demolition of the site in a submission to the State Commission Assessment Panel. The campaign's Evan Moroney has told 10 the Crown and Anchor's roots go back to Adelaide's very beginning.
The pub itself was on the original drafting plans for Adelaide City, with Governor Hindmarsh signing off on its build.
Researchers believe they've found a way to detect if children are at risk of delayed recovery from concussion. The Murdoch Children's Research Institute says there's a lower level of specific blood protein in patients whose concussions lingered for more than 2 weeks. It believes the discovery could pave the way for a simple blood test to determine who's at risk. New research shows up to $82 billion worth of wind turbine towers will be needed as Australia shifts away from fossil fuels. The report is calling for new training programs and subsidies to grow the renewable manufacturing industry. Unions and climate groups say tens of thousands of jobs could be created in solar panel production alone if the federal government increases its spending. The amount of sugar in Fanta has been increased by 60%, reigniting calls for the government to tax sweetened drinks. Coca-Cola reduced the soft drink sugar content a few years ago as proof the industry could reform without a tax. But some of the cut sugar has since been added back. A 600ml bottle now contains an extra 4 teaspoons, taking the total in a bottle of 16 teaspoons of sugar. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, style and safety to your home. Gliderol.com.au.
How sweet it is. Here's Tom Wren.
Absolutely, yeah. Let's hope there's some sweet victories this weekend for the Crows and Port Adelaide. Let's start with Adelaide. Forward Ned McHenry admits there's still a lot of work that needs to happen if they're to get anywhere near back to their best football. They lost to Melbourne by 15 points last week, and McHenry told Rowie and Timmy G there were some positives.
I thought the weekend was a really positive step in the right direction, but that forward to centre connection needs to improve.
The players will train this morning ahead of Saturday's clash against Carlton. To golf, 5-time US Masters champion Tiger Woods has left everyone in no doubt as to what he thinks he's capable of at this year's Masters Championship.
What do you feel like you're capable of doing this week? What do you believe that you can do this week?
If everything comes together, I think I can get one more. Want me to describe that any more than that, or we're good?
The tournament begins tomorrow night with world number 1 Scotty Scheffler, the red-hot favourite, while there are 6 Aussies in the field. To soccer, a couple of thrilling matches in the European Champions League this morning, with Real Madrid claiming a late goal to secure a 3-3 draw against Manchester City.
Vinicius Junior, oh, what a shot! What a goal that is! Real Madrid are 11 again. It's a strike of beauty from Fede Valverde.
A great game, that one. Audio thanks to Stan. The return leg of that quarter-final tie will be played next week, while in this morning's other quarter-final clash, Arsenal and Bayern Munich also played out a 2-2 draw. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Lynn Andrews Real Estate, experts in commercial and residential property management. lynnandrews.com.au.
Darlington, a truck fire on the Southern Expressway near Seacombe Road heading outbound, just as you're going up the hill on the left. A few delays there, look out for that. A breakdown at Dry Creek, that's on Churchill Road near Cormac Road, causing delays, and got works at Glenelg North to look out for. Tapley's Hill Road near Davey Avenue. Getting busy Main North Road at Enfield with a camera at Harris Road at Vale Park. Look for the RAA sign at over 400 independent RAA-approved repairers across SA. You know you can trust them because RAA do. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automaster's technician.
Cloudy and 21 today, tomorrow partly cloudy 22, Friday partly cloudy 21, and Saturday partly cloudy 21. Right now in Adelaide it's 14. More news as it happens on 5AA.
The biggest threat to your business isn't your competition. It's cybercrime. Cybercrime threats impacting Australian businesses large and small continues to grow year on year. One call to one solution will put your business in a safe place and save you from the devastating consequences of cybercrime. It's the smartest, most cost-effective business decision you'll ever make. Stay safe and protected. Get in touch with One Solution. onesolution.net.au, a Platinum Telstra partner.
Samtest Seafoods invite you to savour Adelaide's finest seafood at unbeatable prices. Their lowest king prawn prices in years. SA Raw King Prawns, this is not a typo, start at $13.99 a kilo pack, or as a special treat, these things are so good, particularly chuck them on the barbie. Extra large Aussie prawn meat, just $49.99 a kilo.
Experience freshness with local fresh King George whiting fillets, $59.99 a kilo. Sweet baby calamari, $17.99 a kilo. Or no fuss half kilo packs, ready to serve smoked fish fillets, Tassie salmon, bream or snapper and mussel meat starting at $11.99 per pack.
Thing is, when you're going to Samtest too, if you've got people coming around, they've got all the water crackers, they've got wasabi if you're doing a sashimi platter, they've got all the soy sauce, everything you need. But of course, famous for their 4 kilos of snap frozen seafood favourites for just $60 deal. It hasn't changed in eons. Mix and match your choices.
Treat your family to premium seafood, flathead dory, emperor barramundi, Atlantic salmon and more, all in their 4 kilo deal, still just $60.
Salt and pepper squid, crumb prawns, crispy tempura battered New Zealand whiting fillets, all included in the famous 4 kilogram $60 deal.
Samtest Seafoods, our prawn, oyster and fresh seafood specialists, factory direct, on-site free parking, and they're open 7 days. Samtest Seafoods, where value meets quality. 201 Richmond Road, Richmond.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base, search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
21 minutes to 8. I have to issue a little bit of a correction. Just got a text from the station manager who said, working with me is like working with Dory from Finding Nemo. Campo's not on the call this weekend for the Crows-Carlton game. It'll be Rowie, myself, and Wayne Miller is going to be joining us.
Oh, really?
That is going to be absolutely superb.
How
Cannot
cool.
wait for that this weekend. So obviously he's suffered that injury and out for a long time. He'll be lending his insights to the 5AA call team, which will be invaluable given that he's in the huddle, quite literally.
Both Wayne Miller and our good mate Tom Duday were next to each other at Calvary last week.
Were they really?
Having their operations and sitting there sort of wallowing in each other's misery, the poor buggers.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, good luck to both of them with their recovery. But, particularly when they've both had more than their fair share of these travails.
Much rather him out in the field, but if he's not going to be out there, like having him in the 5AA commentary box.
That's excellent.
All right, let's go around the courts.
It's time to go around the courts with Sean Fuster on 5AA Breakfast.
20 to 8, cover a lot of court cases and trials with Sean as we go around the courts, and he provides us with peerless insight and analysis. Very rarely, though, does a court case feel this close to home, I imagine, Sean, as you cover the case of the young advertiser editor Ben Hyde. And good morning to you.
Good morning. Yeah, look, it's harder still. It's always hard to sort of divorce one's empathy from the situation because you're feeling for victims as they're giving their victim impact statements in court and listening to their understandably very traumatic recounts of the effect of crimes upon them and their loved ones. But when it's someone you know, when it's someone you've worked with, it does hit home even stronger, particularly when you've got good colleagues in court waiting to give their victim impact statements as well about just how deeply and how widespread this effect has been.
Well, Ben Hyde is an incredibly talented journo, had his whole career ahead of him. He would have definitely become an editor, and the impact that this crash on West Terrace has had has been life altering and career altering for him, as the families and also the Tizer editor Gemma Jones, the victims' impact statements that everyone wrote about Ben paint a picture of a guy whose life has been upended by this selfish and stupid act.
And it's something that we don't often think about, the idea that surviving a crime can be just as traumatic as dying in a crime. We're so used to hearing victim impact statements where a loving husband, a loving mother, loving brothers or sisters have been taken away, and it's the family members talking about that void in their lives. When Ben's speaking, giving his victim impact statement in the case of Luigi Glagora, he's talking about the fact that his invisible injury, his brain injury, is the thing that challenges him day after day after day, has altered his relationships with his family members, the way that he parents his children, the way that he can and can't do the job that he wants to do, the job that he can do now. It's just a continuous knock-on effect. And what was really galling to sit there in court and listen to, guys, was the fact that even after all this time, Glagora cannot provide any rational or fully, I guess, taking full responsibility reason for why he did what he did. This crash was preventable. This was a crash where Glagora chose to speed away from police in the CBD at 170 kilometres an hour. He lined up Ben's car from behind and crashed into it. Now, there was no reason given for that. When the judge said to one of the state's best barristers, Craig Caldecott, what explanation does your client have for his decision to ram into Mr. Hyde rather than crash anywhere else? Craig Caldecott's only option was to say, Your Honour, I'm not instructed on that. Which means, in legal speak, I've asked, I've tried to get an answer, I can't get an answer. The closest we've got is Glagora saying, I wanted to drive off a cliff, I wasn't myself that night. But that doesn't really cut it when it comes to explaining this level of criminality.
This Luigi bloke, he's the same guy at first tried to proffer some mental health defence and got slapped down by the court, yeah?
That's right, but we got a bit of an explanation for that one. Mr. Caldecott explained to the court that there was a psychosis at the time of the incident, and he, as a counsel, needed time to find out whether that was a naturally occurring psychosis to do with mental illness or whether it was drug-induced. It got slapped down by the court because it was drug-induced. Gligora was on a whole heap of weight loss pills, which, if taken in toxic amounts, result in an effect on the body almost the same as methamphetamine. So he was driving while completely drugged out of his mind.
Did someone pin him down and make him take the tablets, or did he stick them in his gob himself?
No, completely self-induced, and he, through Mr. Caldecott, admitted to that in court. Completely self-induced, which means it plays no role in mitigation in sentencing and may actually provide a role in aggravating and making the sentence more severe.
And Sean, also, there's a fatal crash from March 22, and the offender has been sentenced in court this morning.
Well, not sentenced in court so much, Pembo. There's an application to have him sentenced in a special way. This is the case of the 17-year-old who's accused of killing beloved academic Dr. Georgina Heath. As you said, that crash, another horrible one. 3 other people, including a passenger in the teenager's vehicle, were injured in that same crash. The DPP is saying that this crash is far too serious to remain in the youth court, where, as we've discussed on the show before, the penalties would take in care, consideration and guidance. They're saying this needs to go to the adult court, where it will be about punishment and community safety. So it's a big application to make. These are not always successful, but we should know in the next couple of hours whether or not he'll face trial as an adult for causing death by dangerous driving, or whether he'll face trial as a youth for that same offence.
So what needs to be shown to get you tried as an adult in any circumstance?
Literally that the offence is so serious, so beyond the pale, that we're past the point of taking this child aside and saying, we can rehabilitate you by putting you in programs, that the offence you've committed is best solved by everyone sitting down around the table in restorative justice and having a conversation, that it's about the mistakes of youth rather than criminality. And the reason the DPP is saying this one is about criminality is because on top of the death, on top of the 3 injuries, there's allegations of excess speed, and there's allegations that this young man was a P-plate driver who was driving outside the hours where P-plate drivers are banned from the roads. The DPP is saying all of that together in concert is just too serious to stay in the youth court.
Sounds like he's got a fair bit of explaining to do. Good stuff, Sean. Sean Fuster, the chief court reporter for The Advertiser. Thanks for that, mate. We'll do it again next week.
Yeah, good to have him back on deck as well.
Yeah, absolutely. After a couple of weeks off.
14 to 8. You want to do a couple of Dutton's texts before we get to the break?
Yes, I've got one here. Boys, I was also born in 1968, and I've never felt the need to physically discipline my children in public. Disciplining them begins well before they're old enough to play up in public. I was brought up getting belted if I did anything wrong, but I've never felt the need to inflict this on the next generation. Instead, I've relied on the idea of choices and consequences right from when they could understand and respond. That's from Ezekiel in Mansfield Park. Thanks, mate.
Okay, let's head back to Welland. Jade Robrin has been there since the early hours of this morning, covering a story police are calling a suspicious death there. Heard from someone who arrived at the scene early, Jade, but you've managed to catch up with someone else at the scene.
That's correct. Will, good morning to you. A very, very strong police presence. In fact, the head of major crime has arrived on scene and has spent a significant amount of time here. A lot of detectives here, major crime detectives, crime scene investigators and the Western District detectives are all here investigating that suspicious death that has occurred. A body was found at around 1:30 in the morning, and witnesses have said that the man was altered. They tried to resuscitate the gentleman, but sadly he did die at the scene. I am standing on the corner of Musgrave Avenue and Welland Avenue. It has all been roped off. It is closed. The incident has occurred at Barpal Avenue, which backs onto Linear Park. It is it's a busy area full of businesses, industrial area with a lot of factories, and a lot of workers are arriving to work, but only to be turned around. And a short time ago I caught up with Steve, who's worked in the area for 14 years. He works at Auto Radiators. Here he is. Steve, what time did you arrive on scene?
I got here, it probably would have been about 5 to 7.
And what were you confronted with?
Police cars blocking the entrance to the street where I work.
Now, your office and factory's just around the corner.
That's
so
correct.
what have the cops told you?
Nothing at the moment.
Can't get in though?
No, can't get in, no.
Do you know for how long?
No, that's what I'm trying to find out at the moment. Yeah, how long it's going to be up for, so...
Anything like this, is this a high crime area or has this come as quite a shock to you guys?
No, I wouldn't say it's a high crime area. Like, that's the first time I've been here 14 years. It's the first time I've seen something like that. Yeah.
Can you explain, obviously this area here is roped off and we can't get down close to where the crime scene is, but what is down there and around the corner?
Oh, it's just other workshops down there. It's usually pretty quiet all the time.
And backs onto the parklands there?
Yeah, onto there, and then you just got a walkway and that goes into the brickworks and whatever to South Road. That's yeah, but in general it's just mainly workshops there.
All right, thank you, Jade. We heard from SAPOL a little bit earlier with those preliminary details that Jade has repeated across the morning, but I imagine there'll be a press conference held at the scene to provide more a little bit later this morning. As those details come to hand, you'll hear them, of course, here on 5AA and in 5AA News.
Stick around too, folks. After 8, we've got Breaking at 8, which is going to be going to tougher laws to crack down on one of the most antisocial forms of behaviour imaginable. And then a second chat we're going to be having with another MP about another form of aberrant behaviour that has been enabled by the digital age. And, you know, you think about all this terrible school crime and youth crime and how so much of it is being sort of celebrated or even sort of archived in these commemorative videos that exist for months on social media with no care from the social media giants as to the fact that it's there.
All right, let's check traffic. Thanks to Louver House, the leaders in turning your outdoor space into a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
Thanks, Will. At Darlington, a truck fired look out for on the Southern Expressway to Seacombe Road as you're heading outbound just on the left going up the hill. Dry Creek, a breakdown, Churchill Road near Cormac Road. We are slow for works at Richmond, South Road near Deakin Avenue, and getting busy, Tapley's Hill Road at Glenelg North. You find cameras this morning, Harris Road, Vale Park, and Kelly Road at Valley View. The King Living Autumn Sale ends soon. Save up to 50% on selected Australian design award-winning furniture. Sale ends soon. Visit the King Living Keswick showroom today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Australian Idol winner Damien Leith returns to Her Majesty's Theatre this May with his acclaimed Roy Orbison orchestrated show, paying tribute to the Big O with a 35-piece concert orchestra. Hear Crying, Blue Bayou, Oh Pretty Woman, and so many more. Live at Her Majesty's Theatre, Friday, May 10. Roy Orbison orchestrated with Damien Leith. Book now at Ticketek.
Thank you very much. You've been an awesome audience. Thank you so much.
Thinking about a solar battery? Don't wait. Connect with NRG Solar and bring home a solar battery with a rock-solid 10-year warranty. Use the energy you generate during the day. Store some for later, reducing reliance on energy providers and putting money back in your pocket. See NRG Solar in their new premises at St Mary's. Bigger place, better space, some amazing people. Visit NRG Solar now at 1275 South Road or call 1300 858 160.
If you need to fix your pipes, call Precise. Call Precise. If your toilet's blocking up, call Precise. Call Precise. If your lights aren't turning on, or your hot water is gone, or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Precise.
Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Call 1300 700 200. That's 1300 700 200. For fixed price services, call Precise.
For a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Call Precise.
When you die, who gets what? Will your kids or relatives argue over your estate? Will your beneficiaries be protected? Will your estate be tax effective? Will your wishes be respected and carried out? Speak with Donlan Lawyers now for peace of mind. Donlan Lawyers for wills and estate planning. Visit donlanlawyers.com. That's donlanlawyers.com.
With help from Fluorio Milk Company, cafes all over Adelaide have joined the fight to reduce plastic waste. Instead of single-use plastic bottles, they've introduced reusable 18-litre kegs. Over recent months, a phenomenal amount of single-use plastic bottles have been eliminated, and every day the tally grows. Fluorio Milk Company, together with cafes, supermarkets, schools, restaurants, hotels and workplaces, expect to save our planet from millions of single-use plastic bottles. Visit fluoriomilkco.com.au for more.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base, search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
7 minutes to 8. Had a great call earlier. We were talking with people about the fact that it's sun's up earlier. We chatted with our early risers, gave away $100 Oaks to You voucher and asked people, what are you doing up at 6:30 and how are you enjoying the sunlight? Received a stack of calls. A lot of people talked about their morning routine, going down to the local coffee shop, buying a croissant. We had a man who gets his cappuccino every morning that spoke to us a little bit earlier.
Thank you for saying croissant, not croissant.
Croissant. I can't. You can hear me mispronounce all manner of French things.
Lucy gave you the thumbs up for croissant.
Oh, did she?
Foie gras.
The price of coffee is somewhat in the news at the moment because baristas and coffee shop owners are saying it's unsustainably low at the moment, which I think will be a shock to a lot of people. The suggestion is that...
Low?
Low.
I don't know, maybe I'm just a miserable old sod. I resent paying so much for coffee as a matter of general principle. Maybe it's because I don't really rate coffee as a drink. I like caffeine. I like the stimulation. But, $5 or more. What are they saying it should be? At least $6.
$6.50. Have a listen
and that's for a small.
Have a listen to Lachlan. This is in Victoria, who runs St Alley Coffee in Melbourne. Says the standard small flat white, again this is Melbourne, but I think there's a conversation going on here as well, should cost $6.50 as a minimum.
These are blessed with some of the best, most vibrant, incredible cafes in the world. And if you look at it purely on an inflation basis, we're way behind. You go anywhere else in the world for a cup of coffee, you're going to get a much worse tax to start with, and you're going to be probably paying, at least 30% more. And it's time, unfortunately, that Aussie cafes and the industry started adjusting up and charging what we should be for a cup of coffee.
Lachlan, what goes into, if we're paying $5 at the moment, break that $5 down for us?
Starting with your humans, your staff in the store, utilities, your occupancy costs, all the standard costs of going into business, let alone coffee itself as a commodity, the price of milk, everything. You said that yourself before, everything's gone up, and coffee's no different.
I think the price point on this is so sensitive because it's an easy thing for people to go, well, stuff that, I'm not paying that. I think people are aggressive with shopping around on it. What do you pay? Or where do you draw the line, folks, on what you're going to pay for a cup of coffee? 8223 0000, text us on the Dutton's text line, 0480 08 1395. The push sites, places like New York City, where you're paying $6.89 average. London's $6.96. In Switzerland, you're paying $10.16.
You're joking.
For a coffee. $10.16. Where do you draw the line? What do you happily fork out at the moment? Maybe happy's the wrong word because there's already been inflation in this space. It has gone up, I think, probably in keeping with demand in the last couple of years. But the people making it say, hang on, electricity bills, grocery bills, labour costs. It actually should have gone up significantly more. Interested to know what people just text through your morning coffee price. Let's get a sense of what Adelaideans typically pay. 0480 08 1395. That is the Dutton's text line. Let us know what it is that you're regularly paying.
Carl in Highbury said he paid $7 in Melbourne Street for a flat white. I wonder if it was a big, medium or small.
$7. That's got to be a big one, doesn't it, Carl? Yeah, we need the size. Can you put in the size?
Yeah, because the size makes a big difference. I reckon I paid $4 for a small the other day. That feels about right.
I think $4 for a small is pretty reasonable.
That's about the standard going rate.
Yeah, I think that is reasonable.
I reckon a lot of our listeners would just never have a coffee. As a matter of principle, he's going, I'm buying a coffee. I've got a perfectly fine jar of instant coffee at home, or they might have their own coffee maker, their own old-fashioned percolator.
Yeah, quite possibly.
What about the old drippolator? Does anyone still use a drippolator with the paper bag?
I used to live on a drippolator when I was in
See, I love that
college.
brewed American black coffee, like the coffee you used to get at Macca's. Before they suddenly became McCafes and so, do you want a latte?
And became excellent. There's nothing you and I disagree on more than this. I think they are great. They do an excellent job.
That caramel bitter taste of the coffee that's been sitting there in the glass jar all day, getting almost a burnt flavour. I love that taste.
Too
many choices now.
Hey,
what about Good Friday football too? Oh.
What about this?
Give us the tea, Adelaide.
If you're building or renovating, your first choice should be visiting the Smeg showroom at Debney Distributors. Taste the difference at Smeg. If you've got a rumour for us, get calling now, 8223 0000, or you can text through, but it will be a caller who gets it. You remain totally anonymous. And in exciting news, if you're watching on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream, the Smeg toaster we've got to give away this morning is pink.
I'd call it Margot Robbie pink. This is
it's the Barbie
It's
toaster.
the Barbie pink. It's the Barbie pink, and same beautiful smeg design. It clashes a bit with my red T-shirt, doesn't it? Pink and red, horrible, visually jarring combination.
Don't ask me about colours.
If I'd known I was going to be holding up a pink toaster, Will,
I don't know.
I would not have worn my red T-shirt. But, we'll just play the hand we've been dealt.
Yeah, you can do the Karl Lagerfeld stuff. It's sort of outside.
I think Lucy's saying it's allowed in fashion, pink and red.
Oh, there you go.
What's the other one? Blue and green should never be seen. That's a bit of a saying, except in the washing machine. So anyway, yes, rumours.
You've been big on the fashion this morning after your confessions of following Pam Anderson and.
By big on the fashion, do you mean revealing that I wore my Ugg boots to Foodland last night?
No, there's been just a lot of fashion observations. I think you're moving into a different stage of life right now. There's a lot of focus on fashion coming from
this could be
that side of the desk.
Given the diversity of programming now
Yeah.
at 5AA, we've had Jess Lawful for years. It's become a roaring success. Now we've got Callum and Themis kicking off their cooking show.
You want to do the fashion show?
Yeah. Pret-a-porter with Pembo. That'd be all right, wouldn't it? Ready to wear.
Pink toaster.
Joining us now, Jean-Paul Gaultier.
We've got a Smeg toaster, 8223 Get calling now if you've got a rumour for us, big or small. Remember, you can remain totally anonymous and we'll give that away by 9 o'clock.
The very latest news and information. This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Cloudy and 21 today with the 8 o'clock news. Good morning. I'm Graham Goodings.
Injured or living with chronic pain? Book an appointment at Physio Extra today. 6 locations. physioextra.com.
The federal government believes a two-state solution between Israel and Palestine is the only way to achieve peace in the Middle East. Foreign Minister Penny Wong is pushing for an immediate ceasefire and the release of remaining Israeli hostages. Senator Wong has been criticised for her stance, amid claims such a move would be seen as a victory by the terrorist group Hamas. But she's told the ABC the current conflict is claiming thousands of innocent lives.
The point I'm making is that ultimately peace, security for Israel will only be achieved if we have a Palestinian state alongside the Israeli state.
Mystery surrounds the death of a man at Welland this morning. He was found unresponsive at Bar Powell Street around 1:30. Witnesses tried to revive him, but he died at the scene. Major crime officers are at the scene at the Bar Powell Street and Musgrave Avenue crossing and are currently closed. Steve works around the corner.
I wouldn't say it's a high crime area. Like, I've been here 14 years. It's the first time I've seen something like that. It's usually pretty quiet all the time.
SAPOL is sending reinforcements to Outer Springs today. Mel Usher reports.
The deployment of 20 SA police officers to help on the ground in the Northern Territory town has been controversial. A 2-week youth curfew was imposed in Alice Springs on March 27 due to escalating violence. It's now been extended by another 6 days. Under the arrangement, 2 week-long rotations of 10 officers drawn from the State Operations Support Branch will head north. SAPOL says sending local police officers to other jurisdictions is nothing new, and no current police operation will be impacted as a result of the 2 deployments.
The state government is moving to get tough on crooks who recruit children to commit crimes. Under proposed legislation, perpetrators would face up to 15 years in jail, or even more if the offence committed by the youth can attract a greater sentence. Attorney General Kaya Ma says anyone who involves children in crime deserves to face the full force of the law.
These will be the toughest laws of their kind anywhere in the country, and adults who do this sort of thing will now face up to 15 years in jail for recruiting children to commit crimes, and you won't have to show the crime was actually committed.
The bird flu threat in Australia is becoming more prevalent. Surveys are picking up the virus in dead seabirds on the Antarctic Peninsula. Farmers are being told to prepare. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Colours, custom design, any house, any style. Gliderol Garage Doors. Gliderol.com.au.
And here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Graham. Crows players will hit the training track this morning as they look to kickstart their season this weekend against Carlton. The Crows are one of 4 sides yet to win a game this season, while the Blues are one of 3 teams yet to lose one. A sanction on Port Adelaide's Jeremy Finlayson is expected to be revealed at some stage today, while no luck for the Demons at the tribunal last night with small forward Cozzy Pickett to miss tomorrow's clash with the Lions. His 1-match suspension for rough conduct for a bump on Adelaide's Jake Saligo was upheld. Well, the groups for the opening 2 rounds of the Masters have been finalised ahead of tee-off tomorrow night. World number 1 and 2 Scotty Scheffler and Rory McIlroy will play with world number 5 Xander Schauffele. And Schauffele says it's a special time of year.
I think, once the gun goes off on Thursday, you just kind of, not wheel it, but, everyone works. I feel like I work extra hard in the beginning of the part of the year to try and get ready for this tournament.
Australians, Cam Smith, he's grouped with the in-form Wyndham Clark and Victor Hovland. Minwoo Lee will play with Ricky Fowler and Patrick Cantlay. Plenty of Champions League action on again this morning with Arsenal and Bayern Munich playing out a 2-2 draw while it was 3-3 between Real Madrid and Manchester City. And later this morning, the Matildas will take on Mexico in an international friendly match as part of their warm-up for the Olympics. And in some tennis news to finish, Aussie Alexei Popram will take on Andrei Rublev in the second round of the Monte Carlo Masters tonight. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Lynn Andrews Real Estate, experts in commercial and residential property management. lynnandrews.com.au.
At Darlington, got an earlier truck fire to look out for today. It's on the Southern Expressway outbound just near Seacombe Road as you're heading up the hill just on the left. Got a few delays there at the moment too. Also got a few delays with a breakdown at Dry Creek, Churchill Road near Cormac Road. Slow for works this morning at Brighton Road near Folkestone Road, speeds reduced, and getting busy at St Mary's for work, South Road near Princess Parade. Cameras at Beaver Trading Farm and a Flaxley Road at Flaxley. Drop into IGA today for great savings on Australian beef blade roast, only $12 per kilo. Offer ends April 16. Excludes IGA local grocer and Express while stocks last. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automaster's technician.
21 and cloudy today, tomorrow partly cloudy 22, Friday partly cloudy 21, Saturday the same, partly cloudy 21. Right now it's 15. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Over 60,000 Adelaide homes have said yes to saving money on their energy bills with Yes, your energy saving solutions. What's keeping you? Did you know that you might be eligible for a rebate on a new appliance like a dryer or fridge? You might even qualify for a purchase you've already made. Just visit the Yes website for a list of appliances and the size of the cashback available. For T's and C's on this unbeatable offer from your energy saving solutions, go to yes.net.au. That's yes.net.au.
When you're a market-leading builder like Regent Homes, you never rest on your laurels. It's why Regent Homes is South Australia's only builder offering 3D virtual reality technology in their Envision Design Studio. At your first design meeting, you'll walk through your home in virtual reality. It's a wow moment, enriching your experience so you can make the right design choices from the start. Regent Homes, innovative design, elevated living. Visit regenthomes.com.au.
Damn it, ow.
What's wrong, Bob?
Ow, these shoes are not as comfy as they used to be.
Well, they've got to be 15 years old, and they look like...
These are my favourites. I reckon they're 15 years old.
No kidding.
They used to feel so nice on, like slippers. I think my feet have changed.
I wish something else would change. Bob, let's go to Gilmore's and get some comfy new shoes. They'll measure your feet and fit you in something really nice, like a casket.
Sorry, what was that?
A basket. We'll need a basket.
Gilmore's Comfort Shoes, South Road, Melrose Park, opposite Castle Plaza.
Having access to reliable healthcare services gives us all peace of mind. Too many South Australians living hundreds of kilometres from Adelaide have a local hospital that doesn't have enough nurses or midwives. Frightening? Without state government action, we won't have the nurses and midwives needed to keep our regional hospitals running. Support those who care for us at regionalincentives.com.au. Authorised by EDBAR's ANMF SA branch Ridleyton.
Streaming live via the 5AA Player app on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. This is 5AA, always Adelaide.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base, search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
8 after 8, we'll get loose in the studio shortly with the outcome of our coffee cup survey. What are you paying? Got a text from someone who said, no one holds a gun to your head to buy coffee. And then Steve put it best for people who I think do suffer from what is a much mocked addiction, me being one. No coffee means no worky means no money means no holidays means the end of your meaning on earth. Thank you, Steve.
What about Mark in Brompton texted me? saying, mate, I pay $6.50 consistently for a small, that's a standard oat milk flat white. And because I drink oat milk, I've seen the oat milk tax be 50 cents up to $1. Really?
Yeah, I got a text.
What is oat milk?
I got a message from someone about alternative milk saying they pay $7 to $8 for lactose-free milk. So once you ever get in the alternatives, you get seriously slugged. Which I sort of get.
Does it cost more to make? I would have thought getting milk out of an oat is easier than getting milk out of a cow.
Yeah, but
it's not like you need to get up in the morning to milk the oats.
No, but it's the economies of scale. It's just less popular. And I get it from a coffee place's perspective because you're opening milk all morning, milk. Then you got to open a whole carton to make one.
Keep saying milk.
Milk. You've got to open.
Now it's not even a word.
No, it's not. It's just a weird sound.
Just a sound.
But you've got to open one carton to make one coffee, and then anyway, doesn't matter. All right, it's time for breaking it up.
Well, the scourge of drink spiking is clearly something that's against the law. What might surprise you, though, is how lenient the penalties currently are. If you're a pervert who gets around putting Rohypnol or GHB or any other so-called date rape drug into a woman's drink, or a man's drink for that matter, I guess, the maximum penalty you will face is just 3 years in prison. And I'll be stunned if the full sentence has ever been meted out. Well, the state opposition is introducing legislation which would more than triple the penalty, meaning that anyone caught administering a prescribed sexual predation drug to another person could be jailed for a maximum of 10 years. The idea has come from the Shadow Attorney General, Josh Teague, obviously with the support of the Liberal Party room. And we have the Shadow AG, Josh Teague, on the line now. Josh, good morning. Thanks for joining us. These penalties the penalties do sound very light as they currently stand, don't they?
Well, yes, they do. And might I say, the nature of the penalty, the nature of the offence is also pretty narrow at the moment. So what we're doing, and I'll introduce this bill into the Parliament this morning, it is a response to what we're seeing as a sexual assaults reported around Australia at all-time high. This is affecting, we know, 3 in 5 victims under the age of 18. And as you said, 97% we see of offenders are male, and mostly they're in their older teenage, the young men committing these sexual assault offences all-time high. And that's partly because the penalty for doing so, we say, is too low, and the offences that are available to be charged are just not there. So we're going to introduce, tougher penalties. We're also going to introduce a new offence for possession of these substances in certain places and at certain times to be able to make policing of this more practical. So that if you're there in possession of drugs that we're naming in the bill, and you said a couple of them, Rohypnol and ketamine and so on, then you're done for a serious offence without taking that further step of administering it to a victim that you're looking to prey on.
So I guess the logic of that, I guess, is the logic of that, Josh, that there's no good reason for anybody ever to have any of these drugs on them. So if you're walking around in a prescribed place such as a pub or a club, or also importantly, given the history of assaults on campuses, university campuses, you'd be looking at a maximum of 8 years for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And going in terms of if you then go to administering, we're going to take the penalty all the way up to life, and that's particularly if the person who you're preying on is a younger person, and we've got increasing penalties for people under the age of 17, and in turn, God forbid, under the age of 14. But we want to make clear that the statute book is going to assist police to go and do the important work they need to do to stamp this out. And if by making it very clear by legislation publicly that we stand against this abhorrent behaviour, then that's a purpose that this legislation can serve as well. We've got to turn around what just can't be something that we accept in our culture in day-to-day life. So this is intended to make policing possible and to really make a significant dent on what are really very, very bad figures that I think we can do something about if we give police the appropriate offences that can be charged.
Yeah, I think it'd have big community support for it, and it'll be interesting to see what the government does in response. Josh Teague joining us there for Breaking at 8, the Shadow Attorney General.
13 after 8. Remember, you can call in now for the SMEG rumour file, 8223 Magnificent SMEG toaster to give away this morning in the new Barbie Pink too, which is absolutely spectacular. If you've heard something about town, call in, have a chat with Sam and Luce, and of course you'll remain entirely anonymous. Lucy's in the studio with us, actually, with the outcome of our little brief coffee survey we did a moment ago, Lucy.
Yes, great news. Adelaideans are paying on average $5.85 for their cup of coffee. Now, that is an entire collection of large, small alternate milk. So on average, we're paying $5.85.
5AA breakfast audience.
5AA breakfast audience paying $5.85. The text in regarding to alternate milks are great. One here from Rob who said, it will never be written on my headstone, so wish I'd have consumed more oat milk. For God's sake, enjoy life and drink up. Well, Rob, if I drink milk containing cow's milk or lactose, that's going to send me to an early grave.
Luce, this is one of the great misunderstandings, I think, but people out there that drink just dairy milk all the time think people who don't have chosen this alternate lifestyle as opposed to being unable to do anything else.
As a niece of a dairy farmer, I would much rather be drinking cow's milk, but I cannot for my belly's sake.
Exactly right.
What does it actually do to you? Because I'm not allergic to anything, but is it
lactose intolerance?
Yeah.
So does it give you stomach pains and stuff like that?
Yeah, mine's like stomach cramps. It's not severe, but it's enough to be annoying.
What about things like cream? Like if it's something that's cooked, could you have like a panna cotta or something like that? Or could you have cream on your apple pie?
Yes, but I don't tend to eat that anyway. Cheese is fine. And
cheese is fine.
And I put myself through any pain to eat cheese.
Oh, yeah.
Good on you, Luce. Thank you. So not quite the $6.50 mark that's been talked about to make the whole thing financial, but... Jesus,
what is it about Melbourne and coffee? Seriously, they think it's some sort of tourist attraction. Who's getting on a plane to have a cup of coffee?
There was that place, wasn't there that place that was doing the $200 cup of coffee? Oh. Remember that? And then someone went in first thing and bought one?
There's some that are pooped out by meerkats or something. The beans need to go through the digestive tract.
I reckon that might have been it.
And then they get, polished by, I said something really politically incorrect.
Don't. Stop yourself.
Yeah, polished by a polisher.
Yes. They're the people that do it.
Cafe bean polisher. Hey, we got Frank Pangello on the line, as canvassed. We were talking before 8 o'clock about the so-called post and boast videos, and I got to say, I heard a story during the 8 o'clock news about a bloke who was recently the subject of a burglary, a home invasion, along similar lines to what our great friend and colleague Stacey had to go through. These creeps who did it videoed it. Not only did they post the video boasting their achievements in smashing up this guy's house and stealing his stuff, they put that on social media. But because they worked out who the guy was, they tagged him on his Instagram account to make sure that he saw the video. So they were actually trolling him on social media. Frank Pangello is an independent MLC, of course, well-known friend of the program. Frank, I can't believe that story, mate. And you think that it's time that we got a hell of a lot more serious in combating this post and boast phenomenon?
Yes, I do. Thank you very much for having me on, David and Will. Look, I think we're all outraged and disgusted every time we see these videos being posted of these idiots and morons boasting about the crimes they'd committed and then thinking they can get away with it. Now, we've seen a rise in youth crime in South Australia, much like we're seeing in the eastern states. And I think it's time that Parliament acted and we introduced tough laws. So I'll be introducing a law in the next sitting week of Parliament. I've already had the bill drafted. And if convicted of offences like criminal trespass, thefts, assaults, dangerous driving, the courts will be able to impose an extra 2 years jail time if the offender posts and boasts their crime on social media. Now, bail laws are also going to be tougher for youth criminals as well. We all know, David, that the youth court is just a revolving door of recidivist offenders. They go in, get a slap on the wrist, and then they go out and continue to reoffend. And on occasions, they'll even film themselves doing these crazy things. Well, bail laws are going to be toughened up as well, so that the magistrate or the judge needs to be satisfied that these idiots won't be reoffending again. I think we need to get tough on these youth criminals, David, much the same way as they have in the other states. It's just getting out of control. Now, my legislation is based on recent New South Wales legislation that was passed by the Minns Labor government. Yeah. And I think, we have a Labor government here in South Australia that is showing that it's tough on crime, and I'm hoping they're going to support it.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed they do, Frank, particularly when you consider, particularly for young people who are on the receiving end of it too, like so many of these school violence stories are fueled by, almost trophy videos of kids being tormented. There was one the other day that I only watched for about 1 second and just thought, I never want to get this image out of my head. It's unbelievable. So more power to your arm in pursuing this, Frank. Good on you, mate. Frank Pangello there from the upper house.
19 minutes after 8. A lot of feedback to breaking out in the Duttons text line that I think, and apologies to anyone for not reading out your excellent texts in full, but we can broadly say is this. There's not a whole lot of excitement amongst our listeners for the idea of expanding maximum penalties because they see it largely as penalties on the never-never, things that never get ultimately used by courts in sentencing. I think we've got 5 texts since breaking out all saying, who cares, raise minimum penalties if you're serious about something like this.
Well, how often have we heard that in the context of aggravated driving, causing death by aggravated driving, which, to its credit, the government has tried, and we were talking about that degenerate who killed the father of 5, who'd been rubbed out from driving on not 1, not 2, not 3, but 11 different occasions. The government has at least brought in that medium category for behaviour like that. Let's see what happens with the sentencing.
Yeah, absolutely. 20 after 8, we're going to check traffic and come back with Dan Houston from the Port Adelaide Football Club in just a moment. Louver House, the leaders in turning your outdoor space into a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
Thanks, Will. We've still got big delays at Darlington with that earlier truck fire. It's on the Southern Expressway near Seacombe Road heading outbound. It's on the left going up the hill. Big delays, pretty slow too. At Dry Creek, a breakdown. Churchill Road near Cormac Road. Slow for works at Richmond. South Road near Deakin Avenue. And getting busy at South Brighton for works too. Brighton Road near Folkestone Road. You'll find early morning cameras, North East Road, St Agnes and Wandana Avenue at Gillis Plains. More beauty for less at Big W. Selected cosmetics are now half price. Includes Maybelline, Revlon, MCO Beauty and more. That's more for less at Big W. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA Sports Show. Stephen Rowe and Tim Jennifer.
Crows. Some more bad news, I'm afraid.
Do we have to talk about them?
Well, we do, actually.
I know. Not listening. Not listening.
Riley Philthorpe, they are going to be cautious with his return, which could mean as far as round 16. It's a very serious injury.
It's no surprise to me.
The 5AA Sports Show.
We're 0-4. Finals are shot. Don't rush it.
Weekdays from 4 p.m. on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Need a forklift? Don't just get a forklift, get a Toyota forklift. Toyota is the world's #1 forklift brand with a great range of pallet jacks, walkie stackers and reach forklifts right up to their leading Toyota counterbalance forklifts. Legendary reliability and safety with cleaner, greener electric options. Toyota can tailor the right forklift solution for you. It's all part of the Toyota Forklift Advantage. For more, visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au. Get a Toyota forklift.
NRG Solar have moved to a new location. It's bigger and better, and their new warehouse is fully stocked with wholesale solar and battery equipment. So, if you're looking to save money on electricity and help our environment, don't wait. Visit NRG Solar at their new office on South Road St Mary's, where every 3 customers refer someone they know, which means they must be doing something right. Call into NRG Solar at their new premises, 1275 South Road, or visit nrgsolar.com.au.
The business sector has had incredible advances in AI. One solution can show you how AI can streamline your business, introducing efficiencies you never thought possible. You'll save money and time, unlock new growth avenues, and you'll be keeping up with the rest of the business community. With AI and One Solution, you can innovate, optimize, and excel across every facet of your business. One Solution will show you how. onesolution.net.au, a Platinum Telstra partner.
City Discount Tires.
Get saving this month at City Discount Tires. When you buy 3 Falcon CT60 tyres, you'll get the 4th tyre free. The perfect tyre for crossovers such as Honda CR-V and Toyota RAV4. City Discount Tires are a proud multi-tyre and wheel brand retailer offering great service at great prices. Visit citydiscounttires.com.au to find your nearest store. City Discount Tires. We're driven by value.
City Discount Tires.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base. Search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
Dan Houston for the moment of all moments for Port Adelaide. It's online. Port Adelaide have done it again.
$19 Shinity Monday to Wednesday at the Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior and Lighthouse Wharf. You just know it's a Barreau Hotel. Dan Houston, the 5AA Breakfast Studio with us. You can watch along on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook live stream. Dan, so much footy, the smash-up job on Essendon. We want to talk about the performance of a couple of your teammates in Connor Rosie and Jason Horne-Francis. Unbelievable. But so many of our listeners are wondering, first and foremost, how'd you go at Coles on Saturday morning?
Went really well, actually. It was a really good turnout, so thanks for everyone for popping down. Didn't hand out or cook too many snags, so there wouldn't be no sick customers. Which
oh, that's good. Aren't you much of a cook, mate?
Nah, not much. Did a couple of checkouts, which was good, and overall it was a good day, good atmosphere, and heaps turned out.
So a little bit behind the checkout, but no trolley collection?
Nah, no trolley collection, just checkout and... yeah, I think it was.
Did you have to do any price
yeah.
checks? Like when people come with something and you go, oh, hang on, these European ginger biscuits, I don't know what they cost. And they go, Dan Houston on number 6, need a price check on this?
Yeah, the first thing I went to was the phone to talk to the whole store. Have you seen the Inspired Unemployed when they do that? I wanted to do something like that, but I was like, I'm wearing all my port gear. I can't get away with that.
Yeah, that's not a great move.
So, just stuck to checking out.
So you're in your port gear the whole time?
Yeah, in the port gear, yeah.
That's sort of like protocol for the AFL players, isn't it? Like when you're out in public, you've got to wear your colours and everything.
Yeah, if you're at an appearance which is run by the club or the AFL, it's expected to wear port gear. Sometimes you can get away with jeans, but at least the polo is the bare minimum these days.
So did you have a word to like Aaliyah and Charlie Dixon? Oh, they're doing hot laps at the bend, and Aaliyah's up with Joshua Shelley spinning some discs and say, hey guys, next year for Gather Round, you've got any tips about, maybe other stuff I could do?
Yeah, I just said to them, just be extremely grateful for the appearances you guys got, and just be grounded because it could be at Coles next year if you have a poor year.
Hey Dan, it was a demolition job Friday night. You guys just destroyed Essendon. The start of the game, though, I was at the ground calling it with Treaders and Timmy G. They said it was one of the best Never Tear Us Aparts they'd heard in a long, long time. Did you get that sense? Did it get you guys up and about?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was so loud. And to have 48,000, I think it was, at the ground just made it even louder. And I remember I saw something on Instagram and I saved it, and it just sort of, sent those shivers down your spine. It was awesome, and it's a good way to start the round, and also to get those interstate spectators to listen to what we do before each game, and I'm sure they loved it too.
If you're an umpire, who you give the 3 votes to on the night? Because I reckon, someone's going to get harshly dealt with out of Connor Rosie and Jason Horne-Francis.
Yeah, I know. It's a tough one. I think the umpire showed last year that Horne-Francis gets 3 if he has 14 touches. So
yeah, exactly.
Does he get 4 for having 31?
I think he might be the first person to get 4.
So I think Horne-Francis probably gets 3.
Do you guys rev him about that?
Yeah, I revved him on the night, I remember, because I was like, I'm pretty good for this game, I reckon. And then Horne-Francis got 3 and I completely missed out, so I sent him a little cheeky message. But I'll go Horne-Francis, Rosie, and then maybe Butters or Drew.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a good midfield performance.
Do you reckon sometimes the umps just do it on who they can remember, who they know? Because you can't remember everyone.
I think as if you stand out as well, like what boots you wear, or if you've got the long blonde locks, like Horne-Francis stands out. Butters and Rosie look very similar, so they probably take votes off each other for looking the same.
Who was the guy? Who was the poor guy? The paper once had the wrong photo.
Miles Bergman.
Yeah,
that's
Miles
right.
Bergman always gets mixed up.
Because they do look kind of similar, don't they?
Yeah.
FIVEAA this weekend. they've been surprisingly good. Everyone had sort of written them off, but they're chugging along pretty well. That's going to be a tricky one.
Yeah, we'll look at them from tomorrow onwards, but when we played them in a practice match not long ago.
Of course, yeah.
They're very defensively sound and like to build the ball up into their forward line, so I'm not sure if they've changed too much from that, but we did have a very dominant performance, so we'll look to land on that, but I'm sure they've changed a little bit, in the last sort of 5 or 6 weeks.
Yeah. Hey, mate, we hate putting you on the spot. Can I ask you, though, the Jeremy Finlayson situation, obviously it's been a big news story this week. Not trying to get you to talk out of school, but is it something, has he spoken to the group about it, or have you guys had a general reminder about what's expected? I've put my views out there that I feel like the guy has been hugely apologetic and contrite. He knows that he made a mistake, and we'll save the harder questions for Koshy tomorrow when he comes on the show. But just from the player perspective, is it something you guys have all spoken about?
Yeah, it's something we've spoken about, and what Jeremy said is unacceptable on a footy field, but it's also unacceptable in society and extremely hurtful to people. Jeremy knew that and reported that and has apologised to the group and the club for what he's done, and ever since he did that thing, he has done everything right, and he'll go through some education and try and become a better person because of it. But there's no shying away of what he did was completely unacceptable.
Yeah, well, the penalty will be coming out later today from what we understand, so people can become better people from making mistakes, I guess, is hopefully where it'll all be at.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good luck for this weekend, Dan. You can focus just on footy. No gather round, no extra shifts down at the local Coles. Just getting kicks.
Exactly
right. Trying to win votes from Jason Hall Francis. all the best. That seems like the toughest job of all.
Yeah.
We'll catch you next week.
Thank you very much.
Cheers Dan.
$90 Shinity, Monday to Wednesday at the Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior and Lighthouse Wharf. You just know it's a Barrow Hotel.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide. Cloudy and 21 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Graham Gooding.
Every body is unique. Let the Physio Extra team take care of your specific needs. PhysioExtra.com.
A crime scene has been set up at Welland after the death of a man this morning. He was found unresponsive on Bar Powell Street around 1:30. Witnesses tried to revive him, but he died at the scene. Senior Constable Kate Dawson says investigations are continuing into what happened.
We're just asking anybody with any information, including dashcam footage or CCTV footage if you've got someone in your home or a business in the area, to please contact Crime Stoppers.
Public transport faces disruption starting tomorrow. Adelaide Metro passenger rail workers will commence stop work action from tomorrow, following an escalation in their dispute with private operator Keola's Downer over pay and conditions. Trains won't be operating between 10 and 2 tomorrow. Then there'll be further disruption on Tuesday and Thursday next week. Rail, Tram and Bus Union Secretary Darren Phillips says the workers' stoppages next week and during school holidays will minimise disruption to families. The opposition has slammed Labor's push for a two-state solution between Israel and Palestine to help end the current conflict. Foreign Minister Penny Wong believes a Palestine state, sitting alongside an Israeli state, will be the only way to achieve peace. Tensions have escalated since the 7th of October, when terrorist groups Hamas launched rockets into Israel. Shadow Foreign Minister Simon Birmingham says recognising Palestinian statehood at this time would be a mistake.
It is very dangerous and very concerning to be talking about some type of fast-tracking or preemptive recognition of a Palestinian state rather than sticking to the long-standing bipartisan policy of having a negotiated approach along agreed boundaries.
The first group of 10 SA police officers deployed to the Northern Territory will fly out today. They're headed to Alice Springs as reinforcements. The town is currently under a 2-week youth curfew, which will now be extended by another 6 days due to ongoing violence. At this stage, there will be 2 groups of 10 officers and each will stay a week. SAPOL says no current police operation will be impacted as a result of the 2 deployments. Researchers believe they have found a way to detect if children are at risk of delayed recovery from concussion. The Murdoch Children's Research Institute says there's a lower level of a specific blood protein in patients whose concussions lingered for more than 2 weeks. It believes the discovery could pave the way for a simple blood test to determine who's at risk. Illuminate Adelaide is back for 2024. The first event of the program has been released. Fire gardens will light up the Adelaide Botanic Gardens from the 4th to the 21st of July, with more than 7,000 giant handcrafted fire pots and live music performances involved.
Co-founder Lee Cumberledge says they're also offering their free program again to make sure no one misses out on the event.
And we do have a fantastic and huge program this year. It involves, what I can say is that it involves our massive free program again with installations throughout the city. But yeah, full details will be revealed on the 1st of May.
Tickets go on sale today with an early bird discount until Sunday. The Russian Republic of Chechnya has banned doof-doof music. It's banned all songs faster than 116 beats per minute, claiming they're examples of Western decadence. Now 5AA Sport.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, style and safety to your home. Gliderol.com.au.
Well, that's the end of your record library, Tom.
Yeah, exactly. No more doof-doof. Unbelievable. Too much Western Europe decadence, that's for sure. Let's start with footy. Graham. Port Adelaide defender Dan Houston says Jeremy Finlayson has apologised to the group following his comments during last Friday's clash with Essendon. Much has been made of his homophobic slur, and Houston has told David and Will he's addressed it with the playing group.
What Jeremy said is unacceptable on a footy field, but it's also unacceptable in society and extremely hurtful to people. Jeremy knew that and reported that and has apologised to the group and the club for what he's done.
A sanction is expected to be revealed by the AFL today. Well, a good night for a couple of Aussies in the IPL with Travis Head and Pat Cummins, both a part of the Sunrisers Hyderabad's 2-run win against the Punjab Kings. Head blasted a quick-fire 21 off 15 balls as the Sunrisers made 9 for 182 from their 20 overs. Cummins then with the key wicket of old rival Johnny Bairstow for a duck.
There again, Pat Cummins with his accuracy.
Audio thanks to Fox. Cummins finished with very impressive figures of 1 for 22 from his 4 overs as his side held on in a result that sees them move up to 5th with a 3-2 record. Real Madrid and Manchester City have played out an instant classic in the European Champions League, drawing 3-3 in the first leg of their quarter-final. Arsenal and Bayern Munich drew 2-2. And Alex de Minaur has mopped the floor with Stan Wawrinka to open his campaign at the Monte Carlo Masters, winning 6-3, 6-love. Carlos Alcaraz has withdrawn from the same event with a forearm injury. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking. Have another go. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Lynn Andrews Real Estate, experts in commercial and residential property management. lynnandrews.com.au.
Truck fire at Darlington to look out for. Still got some really big delays, lots of slow traffic. It's on the Southern Expressway outbound just near the Seacombe Road overpass on the left going up the hill. Dry Creek, urgent works with road plates in use on Churchill Road near Cormac Road, speeds at 40, and works at Plimpton to look out for today, Marion Road near Maple Street. Getting busy, Main North Road at Enfield with a camera, Right Road at Engle Farm. Head into IGA for mega deals like Heinz beans or spaghetti, 300 grams, just $1.40 each. That's half price. Ends April 16. Participating stores only, excludes Foodland. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
And now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your AutoMasters technician.
Cloudy and 21 today, tomorrow partly cloudy 22, Friday partly cloudy 21, 21 Saturday and partly cloudy. Right now it's 15. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Mate, it was so easy. Drop the car into AutoMasters. Next thing, I get a video on my phone.
AutoCam. It's new from AutoMasters.
The service advisor is there live, doing a real-time report on my car.
Real-time video sent direct to you from your AutoMasters technician.
He shows me the problem, makes a recommendation, and look, there's the quote.
So good. Totally transparent, instant SMS approval, and AutoMasters pay later options.
AutoCam. The future of vehicle servicing, here now. Call 1300 AutoMasters.
Hey, you in the car. If your next service is due, just remember that Mawson Lakes Mazda has your back. We'll take care of you with next day servicing, complimentary loan car, vacuum and wash, and your breakfast or lunch is on us. Your car gets the love too, with our state-of-the-art service centre brimming with top-trained mechanics. At Mawson Lakes Mazda, we'll look after your car and look after you. Mawson Lakes Mazda, just a short drive from the city.
Now, home maintenance can be exhausting. You need to know a plumber, an electrician, a handyman and a renovator, or you could forget all that and swap all those numbers for just one. The great guys at Precise Plumbing and Electrical.
From plumbing and electrical work to pipe relining, bathroom renovations and handyman services, they're your one-stop solution with 25 years worth of happy customers.
They might even give you a cannoli too. They gave us a cannoli
That's
when we
right.
went in and said good day. Great people. They will service all areas of Adelaide and they'll be there on time, every time, with an expert in your field of need, ready to do top-notch work. In fact, they're so confident in their expertise, their workmanship comes with a lifetime warranty.
With free quotes and upfront fixed pricing, Precise Plumbing and Electrical is a name you can trust and the only name you need to remember. Visit preciseservices.com.au.
I popped the car into Automasters. Next thing, there's a video on my phone.
Shows me the problem, makes a recommendation, and look, there's the quote.
So good. Totally transparent, instant SMS approval, and Automasters pay later options.
AutoCam, new from Automasters.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base. Search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings. 5AA Breakfast.
21 to 9, as you've just heard in 5AA News, some advice out this morning from the Rail, Tram and Bus Union. Adelaide Metro passenger rail workers will commence stop work actions tomorrow. This is in relation to their dispute with Keolis Downer Adelaide, the private operator of the network.
When's that union boss going to come on the show? We've asked for him about 4 times and he won't pop his head up above the parapet.
Here's what they're talking about doing. Low-level actions include talking to members of the public about why they're seeking a pay rise, placing stickers on rail assets, wearing union clothing, placing a ban on overtime. Work stoppages are planned for Thursday the 11th of April from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m, that's 4 hours. From Tuesday the 16th of April from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. for 2 hours, and then Wednesday the 17th from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m, so that's peak hour. In fact, both Tuesday and Wednesday are both peak hour stoppages. That's a 2-hour one as well. So, yes, we haven't heard from them. Curiously, you know the other person people we tried to get in contact with this morning? The people supporting the museum. Now, we both love the museum and would like to see it continue. They've taken out a double-page ad in the Advertiser this morning at great expense with all the other people around South Australia that want to see the museum survive and continue its current form. No one's available to talk about it.
No one from the museum?
Yeah, no one from the group that are supporting the ongoing operation of the museum. I reckon that on the day you take out a double-page ad in the Advertiser.
It's a bit weird.
Should have someone about the place that might be willing to talk about your cause. We're supporters of it.
The museum won't comment publicly either. It's like a siege situation down there.
Yeah, and we're kind of open.
Yeah.
We're open to its continuation. We love the joint.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to spruik it, today might be a good day. Anyway, let's talk rumours.
Give us the tea, Adelaide.
If you've got a rumour for us, we've got a Smeg appliance view, a magnificent Smeg kettle this morning. If you're building or renovating, your first choice should be visiting the Smeg showroom at Deputy Distributors. Taste the difference with Smeg Unicycle. Good morning.
Good morning, fellas. How are you?
Good, thank you. Unicycle.
Hey, there is a rumour going around that with South Australia wanting to have a team in the NRL, that there's a possibility within the next 5 years that the NRL are going to have a gather round in Adelaide.
Oh, really?
Gather round in Adelaide and a magic round.
Yeah, magic round.
Yes, and because that is the timeline that Vegas has done, and they won't be competing with AFL in Queensland, that the rumour is that it's coming to Adelaide.
Well, we dust off the old Rams gear.
Okay. An expansion of the NRL into Adelaide. I think.
Would it work?
Look, my first reaction would be no. But who knows?
There's more NRL fans than you'd care to think in South Australia. A lot of people watch it.
Mm-hmm.
We'd probably go. You know, if it was on...
You'd go.
You hate it, don't you? You really don't like rugby league at all.
It's just not for me. I don't hate... I think the idea that people hate sports they're not into is weird.
Yeah,
it's just not for me. But, it's just not something I'd spend money to go watch or put on TV.
How many teams are there in the NRL?
You asked me the wrong guy. I have no
18?
idea.
Not sure. There's a lot of games. It's a lot of people need to go to fill them up. But
good rumour, Unicycle. Thank you. In the running.
The way Mally's going to probably say, yeah, sure.
Yeah, why not?
Get the checkbook out.
Yeah, get that events fund.
Why not?
The bottomless pit that is the events fund. They could save the museum by hosting NRL games there, maybe.
Yeah, that's right. The first thing you see instead of all those stuffed animals when you walk in will now be the South Sydney Rabbitohs.
Andrew Nailsworth has called in. Morning to you, Andrew.
Oh, good morning, guys. How are you going? Look, just with his Ambit strike claim, which seems so unreasonable and which are not sort of justified or explained, generally speaking in law, extortion, blackmail is illegal. And so at what point in time do these things start to look like extortion and blackmail?
Yeah, I suppose it's a long history in industrial relations of the ambit claim, isn't it?
It just depends on your perspective, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Looks like blackmail if you're Keolis Downer, I'm sure. And I reckon there'll be a few commuters that'll be mighty
On the
upset.
flip side, though, can you ever remember a time when the Chamber of Commerce, the National Master Builders, when the farmers, has any employer group ever supported a minimum wage increase in Australia?
I don't believe so.
So, I mean, that sort of suggests that if they had their way, no one would have ever got a pay rise. I can't remember Aki ever coming out and saying, yeah, actually, you know what, in the middle of peak inflation, people who are doing really basic jobs deserve a little bit more money.
You know what we've seen?
You reap what you sow a bit.
Well, this is the time that people should all be enjoying massive pay rises because of market pressure, because we've got huge labour force pressures. Anyone can leave their job and go elsewhere. You should be getting more money, but what you're getting instead now is flexible working hours and things like that. Business will refuse to engage in discussions on money until it's the very last option available. But at the moment, you see people switch from bank to bank because I can work from home for longer, as opposed to where once that discussion would have been, well, I can get paid more.
Yeah.
Michael in Woodville's called in on this too. Morning, Michael.
G'day, guys. How are you?
Good, thanks, Michael.
Listen, I don't want to drop anyone in it, mate, but I know someone who's high up in KD, and the drivers are asking for 22% over 5 years.
22%.
Now, that's fine. All right, that's good. But don't forget that in 2 years' time, it'll be completely and utterly out of Keolis Downer's hands. It'll be a government matter because the trains are going back to government control.
Yeah.
So how can they make a decision based on the next 5 years when they've only got 2 years left to run? And this is the main sticking point. Anyway, I just thought I'd let you know that.
Okay, thank you, Michael.
That's a good
Appreciate
bit of
that
information.
insight.
The other thing, too, is how do they know what the inflation rate is going to be in 3 years' time?
Well, they know that you're aiming for 2 to 3%. So if it's... So they would argue this is where...
2 to 3%. So if you say 3 is the highest, shouldn't it be 15, not 22?
Yeah, but they would say that what's happened, it was 8%
So
for a
it's
while
catch
there.
up.
So they
Yeah.
would say there's a bit of catch-up involved there. That's the to and fro of the negotiation. Thank you for those calls. Let's go to Jade Robran now. Jade's actually in the city and in the East End this morning, having coffee with Rachel from the Illuminate Festival. Morning, Jade.
Good morning, David and Will and our lovely listeners. Now, I know you're both in a bit of a funk after the Fringe and Gather Round wrapping up, but good news today. Our stunning winter festival, Illuminate, it is back bigger and better. And as you said, Rachel, as a party who is the creative director of Illuminate Adelaide, we are sitting in the city having a coffee, chillers in the air. It's perfect timing to announce it's back bigger and better than ever before.
It is, it sure is. We're doing our first event announced today, which is Fire Gardens. In the Botanic Gardens. It's over 7,000 fire pots. We're very excited.
Wow, okay, so elaborate a little bit more on that, because when you've transformed the Botanic Gardens, it is like something we've never seen before. So Fire Garden sounds like I'm going to expect reds and oranges and what else?
Absolutely. It's something different this year. We've gone with fire, that primal, beautiful light art. It's full of like burning fire pots, full of fire installations, kinetic sculptures, over 7,000 pots by a wonderful company, French company Carabos are coming over, and they're going to immerse the garden of warm, glowing fire.
Perfect for winter. Now, one thing I love about Illuminate is, the cost of living is affecting all of us, but there are so many fun, free family activities, isn't there? What's going to be on offer for this year?
There is. We're announcing our full program on May 1, and then again we're bringing back our wonderful City Lights program, which is free right throughout the CBD, over 40 different installations, brand new, so wait for that on 1st of May. But also we understand things are tough, and so announcing today we've got an early bird ticket offer, only $35 until Sunday, so get in quickly and buy those at a much cheaper rate for everyone.
Rachel, who comes up with these incredible ideas?
Lee Cumberledge and myself as creative directors, we have a lot of fun working out what wonderful experiences South Australians and all our interstate and international guests can have.
But to put the music and the feeling as well, I mean, when you say it's a light festival, you think, oh yeah, cool, but when you're in and amongst it, every sense of your body is tickled almost.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we started to do. We really wanted an experience that is for all the senses. So light is not only just a visual thing, it's music, it's sound, it's gives you goosebumps, the glow of fire gives you warmth. So it's really, Illuminate Adelaide is about really giving all your senses becoming alive.
Now, everyone else is trying to pinch Gather Round because we do it so amazingly awesome. As with Illuminate, please tell me that no one's knocking on your door trying to pinch it from us.
Oh, they have been, but we love Adelaide and South Australia, and we're here. We're called Illuminate Adelaide for a reason, and we're going to stay here and we're proud South Australians.
Brilliant. We love having you here, and tickets are on sale from early this morning, so 8 a.m. they opened. You can jump onto illuminateadelaide.com with that $35 early bird tickets, and they will be available until Sunday the 14th of April. And get in quick, guys, because rug up and check out this fantastic festival that we have in our own backyard.
Good on you, Jade. Thank you for that. Not too far away. It is 11 minutes to 9. We're going to check traffic and come back with more. Got another rumour, I think. We'll take some calls as well and have a look at the fuel situation in just a moment. Luva House, the leaders in turning your outdoor space into a great entertainment area with an opening and closing roof.
Hey, Darlington got residual delays from a truck fire with some of the Southern Expressway near Seeker Road. It's actually heading outbound. Really big delays. There are lots of slow traffic. Take it easy if you're heading that way. At Dry Creek, urgent works with road plates in use on Churchill Road near Cormac Road, speeds at 40. And we're busy for works at Edwardstown Crossroad near Churchill Avenue. You'll find cameras Grand Junction Road, Hope Valley, and Kelly Road at Valley View. School's nearly out and adventures are in at Discovery Parks with year-round experiences for the whole family. Getting quick to secure your holiday booking at Discovery Parks. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
On 5AA Mornings today, the battle to save the jobs of scientists and researchers at the SA Museum steps up, and a long wait list for the shingles vaccine, including 1,000 names strong at a clinic up in the Adelaide Hills. Those topics, a lot more, your calls too. I'm Matthew Pantelis. Look forward to your company from 9.
Electricity bill!
Bills shouldn't be scary. EcoVantage have supplied energy efficiency in homes for over 15 years. They can install hot water systems that use up to 80% less electricity than regular hot water systems. Help the environment while you save hundreds. And thanks to federal and SA government incentives, you could get your energy efficient hot water system supplied and installed for as little as no cost to you. Stop scary hot water bills with ecovantage.com.au.
In tough times, it's the simple things that make a big difference. Like $19 schnitzel days at the Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior and the Lighthouse Wharf. We know the humble schnitty can't fix all our problems, but we do know it'll put a smile on your dial. $19 schnitty, Mondays, Tuesdays and Wednesdays at the Birkenhead Tavern, Excelsior and the Lighthouse Wharf. Making the world a better place, one schnitty at a time. Got to start somewhere. You just know it's a Barreau Hotel.
If you're in business, manufacturing, warehousing, look, it could be any business, frankly, Sharman Shelving can help you keep everything organised. It's a real time saver, and as we know, time is money.
I've got to say, as a private owner of a Sharman shelf, couldn't be happier, but businesses should really think about the application because they can do like fully integrated bespoke systems. Bill and his team at Sharman Shelving, they've been doing it for years in businesses all over SA, improving workflow efficiencies.
Sharman Shelving can help revolutionise the space you have, no matter how big or small it may be. And if you're worried about the cost, remember, Sharman Shelving isn't just about short-term fixes. It's an investment in long-term organisation with affordable solutions and designs for any budget.
So get in touch and talk to Bill for a free measure and quote. He'll gladly show you what's possible. Every business needs a little Sharman. SharmanShelving.com.au or take a look on Facebook.
Hi, I'm Lynn Andrews. The Lynn Andrews team have seen a lot of change in real estate over the past 50 years, but one thing remains unchanged: our passion to help people invest in their future, to build strong property portfolios in either the residential or the commercial sectors. Our commitment to property investment over the years means we have a wealth of knowledge to share. We're here to help you. Visit lynnandrews.com.au.
Ray White Business Sales. Business people selling businesses. Go on, touch base, search RWC Business Sales.
David Penberthy and Will Goodings, 5AA Breakfast.
7 to 9, another rumour coming through for the SMEG rumour file. Roller skates, good morning.
Good morning to you. The rumour is a certain bank is now thinking, let's do service, about time. They're going to have people on the front desk. There'll be more cash, because I think they're figuring out cash could be coming back again, thank God. And it's a medium-sized bank, and I hope it goes well, because I'll be doing a bit of advertising campaign.
Okay, interesting. Thank you, roller skates. There might be a market opportunity for a smaller sized bank there.
Well, we're saying
the problem
the
could be
other day
getting
about-
cash with the whole Armaguard story at the moment.
Oh, yeah, that's amazing, isn't it? Crazy. We were talking about how good it would be for Qantas's brand image if they had, actual Qantas booking centres where you could go in there. Imagine now if you got a tip bank opened branch, that's almost page one these days, isn't it?
It would be. The question is there enough of a customer base? Is the customer base out there as loud as the noise that's made about the inconvenience? That's the question. Like, is it profitable?
And how many people of a younger generation are going to go, oh, this is really good because it means I don't have to do online banking anymore.
It's probably got a lifespan, doesn't it?
Yeah, not a very long one either.
David, good morning.
Yes, good morning, boys. It's probably already been covered, but I just want to comment on the breaking in 8. We constantly get these politicians coming on and saying they're going to increase the penalties of this and increase the penalties for that, and the whole thing falls down in the big shit heap when it hits the judiciary.
Yeah.
So let's hear a politician come on and say, if you do this, you're going to get that. How about some mandatory sentencing?
David, you've hit on something that we received a deluge of texts about after breaking it 8. I think almost universally everyone's reaction was, so what?
But the thing is, there's a bipartisan agreement that you cannot interfere with the independence of the judiciary to that extent by tying their hands. And the great test for it, and at the time it was something that became internally problematic for the Liberal Party under John Howard's leadership, was when they tried to do it in the NT. With the theft laws and so forth, because and it's the same conversation we're having now in the context of Alice Springs, but Howard tried, and there was a party room revolt over it. And you think about the huge representation of people with legal backgrounds in politics. About a third of the coalition party room said, "You can't do this, PM." And it had people crossing the floor over it. It was one of the biggest internal challenges Howard faced in his first term of office.
Well, I reckon a lot of our listeners will hear that and go, that might be the political reality, but we don't care.
Oh, for sure. And I think depending on the offence, I reckon for some offences they should have the fight with the judiciary. And the one that I can think of that stands out so much is demonstrable, selfish, hapless idiots behind the wheel who just over and over and over break the law. And that guy who killed the father of 5, he's going to be out of jail in 3 months' time.
That is just outrageous. But how often do we say that?
When we had our mini stink the other morning with Mally about it, where he came on the show to talk about how great Gather Round was, and we had to have a fight about police numbers. But he was right. Even the modest steps that the Malinowskis government has taken to increase sentencing trigger a Pavlovian response from the lawyers' union, i.e. the Law Society. Forget the CFMEU. I reckon the Law Society is one of the most, bother boy unions in the country when it comes, no, we do the sentencing around here.
Yeah. I think they are an inverse barometer for what the average South Australian thinks.
100%. They're like the equivalent of the Q&A audience. When the crowd's going wild, clapping and cheering on Q&A, reverse the thing that's excited them, because that's what mainstream Australia thinks.
All right, let's have a quick look at the petrol situation before we leave this morning. Fuel Watch, thanks to the excellent RAA with their... you can find the cheapest fuel in an instant with the free RAA app. Download it today. Most unleaded outlets are in the $2 range. There are a few sites, though, that are under that. The ex-convenience Main North Road Jeps Cross is at $1.88.3. The OTR Hackney Road Hackney is at $1.87.9. Diesel, mostly under the $2 range. It's just managed to be anchored around that $1.84 mark in the cheap spots. Cheap diesel, United Main North Road, Paraka, is $1.84.3. Who do we like for the Smeg toaster this morning?
Oh, I reckon let's give it a unicycle.
Unicycle.
You are the winner of this absolutely stunning, beautiful pink Smeg toaster.
We received a very excited text from Stacey Lee from afternoon saying, "Bring back the Rams."
Oh,
Big
yeah.
NRL fan is Stace. She'd be delighted if that rumour was ultimately borne out.
Which
to be
she revealed all on the show the other day. She went out with one of the Penrith players for a while. She jokingly said that she was a wag for a while there.
5AA News is coming up. That's all from us this morning. Stick around for Matt Pantelis. We'll catch you tomorrow from 6.
Jarvis Toyota has moved to their brand new home in Brighton Road, Somerton.